Hello, fellow homebrewers. JP here, and I want to introduce to you the brand new Brewbuilt X1 Conical Series available at More Beer. More Beer sells the highest standard in homebrewing equipment, and the Brewbuilt Conicals are just that. They're made from mirror-polished 304 stainless steel, and they come with loads of features that you and I have been looking for. They have a full 2-inch bottom dump valve, which will eliminate your clogging issues, while the sturdy base includes 4 reinforced legs, just like those big pro tanks do. More Beer also carries the Brewbuilt line of options and add-ons like casters, pressure kits, and even external glycol chillers. So you can find out more about the new Brewbuilt X1 Conical Unitanks by going over to morebeer.com for detailed videos on the entire line of Brewbuilt Conicals. You can trust Brewbuilt with your next fermentation, and you can trust More Beer to find the right conical for you. Brewbuilt at morebeer.com.
Today's Sunday session is brought to you thanks to the fine folks at More Beer. Visit them right now at morebeer.com.
If you really want to be one of the best brewers there is,
I stopped dressing all in plastic.
You better be brewing 5 to 6 times a week.
Every beer is made with love, and it begs to be appreciated.
I need something to kill the salmonella I'm kind of worried about in the eggs.
Do you find that that the hops kind of clash with the chicken embryo you put in there?
I might sleep here tonight.
It's a California King. There's plenty of room for both of us, Beavis.
How many of the brewers over there have seen your ass?
That's it. Someone's getting cut tonight.
All I have to say is, hey, McDowell, how you doing?
Now, live from the Brewing Network studios in Northern California, this is the radio program for home brewers, craft brewers, beer lovers, and beer geeks. It's your only source for live beer radio that brings expert brewers together with, well, expert drinkers. This is the radio program with a head on it. This is The Session.
Well, all right, here we are back in the studio after a whirlwind tour of the Great American Beer Festival, which
it's a whirlwind version. Yeah, where you don't sleep at all.
Every version. I think. There was at least one night that I did not sleep at all. Ooh. I'm really glad that festival season and our sort of party season, I should probably call it, is over. It's officially over with the Great American Beer Festival.
You really do a straight all-nighter?
Yeah.
Wow.
I slept for an hour that night, and then I had to get to set up for the awards ceremony.
What was the hour, like 8 to 9 a.m.? What are we talking about?
6 to 7 a.m., and then I had to get up and go set up because the awards start kind of early on Saturday. And
sounds painful.
I'm not the smartest individual in the bunch. I showed up at GABF with a strong combination of the flu and a hangover from JP's wedding.
How could you detect the flu through the
JP's wedding?
Well, the flu was the fever and the shakes and the overall lack of anything functioning normally. The hangover was just my brain being real dumb and, I don't know, whatever else was left after the flu. It was rough, though. So I flew out. Basically what happened was we got to JP's wedding on Friday, and then we partied at late. And then there was the wedding Saturday, and then we partied late. And then Sunday, a few of us felt like, well, why don't we just go? We'll go to my house. We'll lazy
yeah,
party.
Lazy party.
I thought we were just going to hang out a little.
What can go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong? We raged, drank a lot. Yeah. And then I was already sick on Sunday, too, with a throat thing, and it just, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not all that bright. So we then, we just kind of kept right on going. But I woke up Monday morning just feeling terrible, but had to get on a flight. Ooh. And by the time I got to Denver, I was dying a slow death. So I checked into my hotel. I did not get out of my bed for 2 days. I didn't get out of my bed till Wednesday when I had to go set up my booth.
That's very responsible of you.
And even then, things weren't going too great. But anyhow, you power through it. That's what you do. We had a great week at the Great American Beer Festival. By Thursday, I was starting to feel a little better. By Friday, I was feeling pretty good. So I thought, well, must be time to go party again.
I'm okay now.
Turn it back on.
So I stayed out all night like an idiot on the worst night to do it.
Yeah, take it easy.
So the point is, we had a great GABF, and I'm glad that festival season is over. I feel like now I can stay at home and work like a normal job, like what normal humans do, where you go to work and you do work and you go home and you sleep, and the next day you get up and you go to work. I've never looked so forward to it in my life.
Yeah, this raging drunk thing's getting old.
As am I.
Yeah.
So the combination of the two is going to kill me.
Well, any festival is always like 3 days. There's always the day before, the day of, then usually you're part of the day after.
Yeah, exactly. So, but it was really a great time, and we have a great show for you tonight. I know I say that all the time, but wait till you hear this lineup.
Well, we have a great show all the time.
There you go. That's true.
Come
on. First, let me thank our sponsor, More Beer. Our good friends over at morebeer.com. They bring you this session and every session that we do, and we love them for it. And you should, too. Go over, check them out at morebeer.com. They're good people. They've been supporting us for 10 years now, and boy, do I love them for it. So on tonight's show, we're going to do a Great American Beer Festival recap. And to do that, we got a couple great guests for you. We're going to be talking to Jay Goodwin of the Rare Barrel.
Never heard of him.
He won, the Rare Barrel, I should say, won 2 medals in the same category, bronze and silver. And let me tell you, the room was waiting with bated breath to find out if they were going to sweep the category. There were gasps in the room.
Well, it's hard to have many beers in one category, and I think they put all their beers in that category because it's all they make.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but has it ever happened that someone swept the category?
I don't think so, but we'd have to ask somebody much wiser than me about that.
Yeah, I don't think so. I have seen multiple medals in a category before.
Yes.
But it's rare. It's very rare.
Well, think about it, though. When it was small, when we were little lads, or I was, it could have easily happened, actually.
Sure.
There could have only been 8 entries in the category. Oh. You put quite a few in there, and you win. I could see it.
But not now.
Not when 188 beers in categories.
Yeah. So we're going to be talking to Jay. He's going to call in. We're going to find out about the 2 award-winning beers, and then maybe get some techniques from him about what he thinks made the difference in this. Then we're going to talk to our old friend Paul Sangster from Rip Current Brewery. Now Paul ended up winning Very Small Brew Pub of the Year.
Yeah.
This one made me cry. I was sitting over in my little booth there getting teary because, we had him on when he was an Ninkasi winner.
He reached the highest levels as an amateur.
Yeah.
And now a pro. Yeah.
And now as a pro.
Yeah.
And so it was just cool to see. He's such a nice gentleman. Yes. And so we're going to talk to him about the couple of beers that got him that medal, maybe get some tips and tricks about how to make those beers ourselves.
And this is really a full circle thing, especially with him. We had him on this show as the Ninkasi winner.
Right.
And then we had him on again when he first started Rip Current.
Exactly. And now we're getting him on when he's Very Small Brew Pub of the Year.
And then we'll get him on again in a year when he's bought out by AB. You see? Full circle.
We're going to do the whole thing.
Calls in.
So speaking of AB, also during our beer news segment tonight, which I always really enjoy our beer news segment, we're going to be talking about 2 top stories. So you're going to want to pay attention because we're going to be speaking live to Chuck Silva tonight, and we're also going to be speaking live to Meg Gill tonight from Golden Road Brewing. Chuck Silva, as you'll find out in the news, formerly of Green Flash Brewing Company. So we're going to find out what they have to say about 2 of the biggest stories in craft beer right now. That's going to happen in the 7 o'clock hour, probably right around 7:30. So you're going to want to stick with us for that.
Nice.
So that's our show. We got more to do, too. We're going to play some games after that, and lots going on. So I'm going to get right to it. Let you know that Bear Republic will be here at the Hop Grenade this Wednesday, September 30th. So day after tomorrow, come hang out with us and Bear Republic. They also won, at least one, I think 2 medals at the JBF. Just the one?
Yeah.
I can look it up. So we're going to have them here at the Hop Grenade. I'm looking forward to that. Winterfest. That's right.
The beginning of party season.
That's
now the festival season is over.
We'll be in and out of rehab by then. Right?
Exactly. We should be back on top by then. January 30th. I'm just giving you a save the date. It's happening January 30th. As always, it is. Those of you who always wonder what the date is, it is always the weekend between the NFL playoffs and the Super Bowl. It's that empty weekend right there. And this year falls on Saturday, January 30th. So come party with us. It's going to be a good time. And I'll give you website and ticket information as soon as we have it. I'm just giving you a save the date. We got an AHA rally coming up, actually. That's going to be Saturday, October 10th. So that's next Saturday. And we're going to be doing that at Heretic in Fairfield. Is that his city, Fairfield?
Yeah.
Yes.
I always forget.
It is
I was
Fairfield.
confused.
Yeah.
Fairfield and Vacaville. That's why.
Pretty close.
But,
Yeah.
Very famous town.
So we will be there. I don't know in what capacity, but the Brewing Network will be there for the AHA rally. We may be doing a show, but right now I'm really tired.
I'll be there as myself. I'll be there as myself.
Party season just ended.
Yeah, right. So Justin will be there, not partying.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so just there's a couple things to put on your calendar. Don't forget that Moscow's new Hop Life gear is available for purchase here at the Hop Grenade and also over at
hoplifestore.com.
There you go. Check out hoplifestore.com, and it's really cool stuff. It's Moscow original art put onto tees, and it looks really cool, so check it out.
And prints, too. I've done my first go ever at printmaking, like took one of my oil paintings and made prints of it.
Oh, good.
Like, hand numbered and edition and everything. Never done that with any piece of work I've ever made. So we started with one piece from this cop cartoon thing, and a bunch of people have bought them. People like them. It's like a inexpensive option for people who can't necessarily afford an original painting.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Which is like me. I might buy a print.
Oh, yeah?
Would you?
For your bathroom?
Will you be pissed off at me if I buy prints and not original?
No, not at all. As a
You
matter
see
of
the
fact,
price of the originals? Be serious here.
Are they expensive?
Yeah, you can't afford it. So I'm not thinking twice about that.
The man spends hours on these things.
No, they're worth it. I'm just saying they're and they're really nice.
I have an artist friend who did what he called the minimum wage series once, and that's what he charged for his work. He just added up his hours,
I see. Mm-hmm.
and then plus the materials, and he paid himself minimum wage. They were very, very expensive pieces.
Takes a while. Yeah.
More than that. No, they were
that.
very, very expensive pieces because of the amount of time that he spent on this thing. But he did it just to try, I think, to open people's eyes a little bit to not just the struggles of minimum wage workers, but the struggles of artists.
It's not actually overpriced. It's just.
And he went, and he goes, I would love for you to buy this. I know you probably can't afford it. It barely pays me minimum wage.
Totally, yeah.
Anyway, I thought it was an interesting concept.
Yeah, that's cool. I wish I was one of those artists who work where like my finished piece looked like a zoomed in photo of a paint apron, like indistinguishable from who knows what.
Yes.
Because then if I worked quickly, then spend 2 hours on a piece and charge $5,000.
No big deal.
Easy street.
Yeah, it's not the way it goes. You know where the big margins are in distilled spirits. I hear that's where the big margins are.
Yes.
And not in beer and not in art.
More than one beer person getting into distilling these days.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we'll get into that later.
All right, good. So, hoplifegearstore.com, check it out. Also, you can do your Amazon shopping. Click Amazon link on the homepage, and then you shop as normal. And it's just an easy way to support us because we get a commission. You're not giving it all over to the man. You're giving it to the boys. I don't know, us. Do we have a product?
Yeah, someone bought The Living Daylights. That's the Timothy Dalton James Bond flick from 1987.
Nice.
And you'll be happy to know whoever bought this. You inspired me to start looking at formerly exotic cars on Craigslist. Because in this movie, Tim Dalton drove a Lotus Esprit Turbo from 88, and it turned into a submersible. You remember that? A white submersible?
Yeah.
And so I was like, I wonder what Esprits go for these days. So I went on Craigslist. Sure enough, down in San Leandro, some guy had a 91 Esprit Turbo for sale. That was a supercar. When we were kids, that was right up there with Porsche and Ferrari. And,
what is it now?
$27,000. And the thing had 26,000 miles on the odometer. It was a time capsule.
$27,000. That still sounds expensive.
Wow. Is it? Well, yeah,
I get it. Yeah,
for
back
a
then.
car that kept up with $200,000 it was a supercar.
Right.
Yeah, I had models of that thing.
Nice.
$27,000.
Well, he was the worst
James
Bond. So
it was awful. The car wasn't that great either, but it's nostalgic. Anyway, thanks for buying that through our link.
We appreciate it. All right, you can subscribe and join the BN Army. Just hit the donate button on our homepage, and it enters you for a chance to win $100 to our More Beer monthly donation giveaway. Last year, our winner was David Knecht, K-N-E-C-H-T, David Knecht. David, we're still waiting to hear from you because your address isn't current in PayPal, and the reason I'm bringing that up is to make sure that all of you go and give us a current address in PayPal, because what we do is we take all of you who are subscribers, we put you into a hat, we draw a name, and the only way we have to contact you is with your email through PayPal. So if you are a subscribing donor, please go log in. Make sure that you're up to date. You don't want to miss out on your $100 gift certificate. If we don't hear from David by next month, then we'll draw another name. We'll do 2 in 1 month. So thanks for all your support. Hit the donate button. We need it. Send your show ideas over to Scott the Jew. That's Scott@thebrewingnetwork.com. Send feedback to feedback@thebrewingnetwork.com and get all these updates and more over on Twitter and Facebook. Do we have a Twitter game today, Moscow?
Yeah, we do. I made it up this one all by my lonesome.
Yeah, JP's off on his honeymoon right now.
That's right. He's in Disney World right now. The Magic Kingdom.
He's doing the Disney tour. I'm surprised he's not also going to Paris because he did Disneyland. Then now he's doing Disney World. It's just another hop over to Paris.
Can you imagine the plane ride, though? 14 hours of him white-knuckling.
Oh, that would be rough. Yeah, that's why you got to B.A. Baracus him for that.
There's not enough Xanax in a bottle for him to make it to Paris.
Just what I was going to say. Not enough Xanax.
Is there's one in Japan, too, isn't there?
Yep.
Oh.
Got to do the global tour. Why
well,
not?
That's a long jump, that one.
Yeah, and then you come back around the other side. You just circumnavigate the globe.
Wow, that's a honeymoon right there. All right, so our Twitter game is brought to you today by the Labruski Cruise, and we're going on the Labruski Cruise. It's the first week in March, where it's all beer lovers doing beer things, plus music from Kyle Hollingsworth of the String Cheese Incident and a whole bunch of other artists as well.
OAR, the headliner.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Nice. Where do you go to get details about that?
You can go to labruskicruise.com. Actually, it's kind of a convoluted one, but if you go to labruskicruise.com/the Brewing Network special offer with dashes in between all those words, Brewing Network, you get our special listener deal, which is a whole bunch of, 20 free craft beer drink tickets on board. So you basically get 20 free pours on board.
20.
That's my first day.
They'll use that the first night, watching Staying Up All Night with Justin.
That's right.
Yeah, we'll be back into next year's party season by then?
Yes.
Well, also, I mean, it helps us, too, because we want them to know that we sent you their way. So make sure you let them know that by using our link.
I'm going to make that easier, too. Right now, there is a rotating banner on our homepage that has the Labruski Cruise. That will get you there and is our link. But I'll put a stationary link on the homepage this week, and that way you all can click the Labruski Cruise right there on thebrewingnetwork.com and get your tickets. Come hang out with us because it's going to be a good time. What's our Twitter game?
The Twitter game is what happened in Denver that Justin, Bevo, Pushy, and Jamie wish stayed in Denver. Of course, that's Vegas's tagline, but I'm sure a lot went on that you wish didn't. So what was it?
I would say it was one of our most debaucherous years we've ever done. So just keep that in mind and tell us what happened that we want to leave in Denver.
Yeah, Bevo walked in the door. I haven't seen her in a week, and she goes, well, I got drunk. That was the first thing she said.
Good and drunk.
We got her drunk. There were some Bevo firsts. It was one hell of an experience. And you know what else, Tasty? The first time in 10 years, because I think I've been doing GABF for 10 years now, 9 or 10. First time,
9, I think. Yeah.
First time that I didn't do what?
Beer Jeopardy?
No.
What?
I didn't go to Falling Rock Tap House. Not even once.
I went once.
I mean, it's like my place. That's like home to me. It's the only place I go.
I avoided it mostly. It's just always
too crowded.
You end up there after the festival's over, right?
Yes.
Well, all the yo-yos show up there.
But now everybody says that, and I agree. It's hard, but I always get a beer.
No, I know.
And it's fun. And I like that everybody's there. I like being in a big crowd. Then it's fun.
Crowd.
So, but no,
because you're tall. That's hell to me.
Yeah, oh, right. I'm not breathing armpits all the way through the crowd. Yeah. No, I didn't go. A little disappointed in myself. But,
they had some nice events there, too, where they had exclusive beers and that kind of...
Sorry, Chris Black. I'll make it up to you, but I didn't
Something tells me he didn't quite need you there.
Oh, he did. He was devastated, I'm sure of it.
He's still getting over it.
Where's Justin?
All right, so send your Twitter ideas over to us, and the winner is tonight's Twitter game will be entered for a chance to win a cabin on the Labruski Cruise with us. All right, let's do some feedback. Feedback's brought to you today by Beer Law Center. My good friend John over at beerlawcenter.com. Check it out. He protects the Hop Grenade logo, which is a giant pain in the ass for him to do, but he does a good job of it, so he can help you too. Go to beerlawcenter.com. Here's one from Chad that came through about GABF. Hey, guys, I just wanted to say thanks for providing so many awesome shows. I'm leaving tomorrow morning for Denver to enjoy the Great American Beer Festival because Sam Adams chose my beer as a finalist for their long shot competition.
Hey, all right.
Now, I'm going to venture out and say here
good for him.
That we have had a finalist in the long shot competition every year since Tasty did it.
It seems like it's every year a listener calls and, says they're in. I think so.
And says they're now, was your year the first year they had ever done it, or had they been doing it?
No, they've been doing it.
They did it for years before.
I think it was like this, but I think they stopped it and they started it back up.
Okay.
And I think I was the second year
they
when they started it back
So
up.
it may have even been the year before that. But I'm saying every year we have a finalist as a listener, and I love that. I think it's cool.
That's pretty cool, yeah.
If we win, are we going to stop entering as a club?
Yes.
I'm sick of it.
Did they boo we don't know if he won. Did he win? We have to look it up.
We don't know yet.
I think we wouldn't. They announced it at the GABF, and I think he didn't win.
Yeah, he didn't.
He was one of the 4 finalists. He did not win. He does go on to say that I also got a silver medal in the spice beer category at the National Homebrewers Conference this year, and I can honestly say that the information I got from listening to all the shows in the BN has helped me bring my brewing up to this level and achieve these accomplishments. So look forward to seeing you in Denver, which we didn't see him. I didn't see anybody. I saw strippers in my bed. Okay, so that's from Chad. And he left his phone number for whatever. I don't know if you want that. But,
send that over.
303-555.
All right, so this email's from Brian, and it's titled, Why Evan is an Asshole. And I think he means Evan from Noble Ale Works.
Evan Price.
He goes on to say, Hi, my networks. I've been catching up on back episodes, and I just listened to the Noble Ale Works show. And here's why Evan Pierce is an asshole. Because ever since listening, whenever I see a fly land on somebody or myself, I visualize that person as a large, lumpy piece of shit. Which I think is the part that Evan taught us, that he says that to his buddy every time he sees a fly land on him. He goes, "You're a piece of shit."
That had me laughing for days after the show whenever I saw a fly.
It's pretty funny. He says, even worse, now that the image is in my head, I'm pretty sure I'll never be able to stop seeing it anyway. So I love the show. Thanks for the info. Suck it to the new website, he says, from Brian. All right. Jack writes in, thanks for the great shows. Dear Brewcasters, I just wanted to thank you all. My Saison won Best in Show at the Washington State Fair.
Hell yeah.
Nice. Top dog.
He says it's the first competition he's ever entered. Y'all have helped me to vastly improve my beer, and more importantly, I'm having more fun brewing because of your shows. Now I'll go fix my PayPal account so I can continue to support and be in the BN Army. Thanks from Jack. Thanks, dude. Congrats. Melvin writes in, and I think this one is a joke. But I think it's a joke written in English by a person whose English is not their first
language.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Maybe it's not a joke, but you guys can be the judge.
Justin is real handsome.
Yeah, definitely a joke. Questions about making beer is how it's titled, and he says, Dear Justin, your radio channel is very informative. Thank you, in caps, for the free information about how to make a beer. Please wondering if you can give some advice. Trying to flavor my beer with the yeasts, but it's not turning out. I do all the steps, but just get a sticky, bitter, also clean-tasting drink when she's finished. Is it possible to put too much hops in the Star San? Seem like making beer is a lot of trouble, and I don't like the beer that much. Sincerely, from Melvin.
Sounds like one of those spams.
Yeah, I think he might just be copying a spam.
Just changing some of the words.
I was thinking maybe it's just a bad English second language until they got to the hops in the Star San thing.
Right.
Then I thought, well, that's not possible.
And that's what I thought, too.
Yeah. That kind of made me go,
should we answer in case it's real?
We have a responsibility to. There might be other people out there wondering the same thing.
Why don't we just ask for clarification on that portion?
Okay. Are you putting your hops into Star San on purpose?
Yes. Okay. And then we'll respond to the whole thing.
And then we'll get back. Okay, there you go. Good advice, Tasty. So, Melvin, write back to us with some clarifications.
That shit all the time.
Yeah, or go fuck yourself. It's a joke. I don't know what to tell you. Somebody else writes in, it's titled JP has a nicely shaped skull, but I don't think there's anything about that in here. Hello, Brewcasters and beautiful Bevo. I am a longtime listener since I started brewing 7 years ago when I was 20. He says, all right, now listen, I'm trying to catch up in the archives after a hiatus, and I recently listened to the Society show. Oh, and here he goes off on Society. He says, it sounds like they make great beer, and unfortunately, I live in the northeast corner of Tennessee, and I can't get it here. However, WTF, Society, what is it with breweries trying to be so Portland hipster douchebag and preaching and the word he's written is perseverating?
Oh, yeah.
Is that a word in
Yeah.
Moscow?
Yeah.
Preaching and perseverating on how they don't brew to style. What is perseverating?
That's what
like
Society
to
does.
repeat.
Okay. On how they don't brew to style. Tasty was just asking simple questions, and they were dodging questions, saying shit like, why does it matter? You volunteered.
Yeah.
They did do that, yeah. You volunteered your time to be on an effing online radio program geared towards homebrewers discussing brewing techniques. And then you avoid answering simple questions about techniques or recipes. Why? Are you so insecure with your abilities as brewers that you're afraid that if you divulge your trade secrets that people won't buy your beer because all 6 people who are sober enough listening to this show will make your beer, open an effing brewery, sell in your market, and run you out of business? Jamil gives everyone all of his recipes and techniques, and he did it because he knew that the recipe is only a small percentage of what it takes to make good beer. I know this is a rant, but I felt myself talking to my iPod in irritation while listening to that. Please discuss this. I want to know how the Brewcasters really feel about effing demo brewers who act like their recipes are proprietary techniques and need to be hidden or kept from others. Keep up the good work and suck it, JP. Okay.
Yeah, I remember that too. And not only were they dodging, they were also answering questions with questions, right? Like Tasty would be like, well, so what was the starting gravity? And they'd be like, well, did it taste good at the end?
Right.
Like, that's all that matters, right? Yeah. It's like, God, all right.
I feel like I need to interject how drunk they were.
Yeah, they were hammered.
You guys remember that, right?
So do you think they were just deflecting that they didn't have that information on
they
hand?
went on the
They're having fun by not answering.
I think I remember that I also was somewhat irritated with that and was trying to call them out on it. Like, I think I remember saying, like, all right, well, I get it. You don't brew to style, but it is still a valid question. I think I was sticking up for you quite a bit, Tasty.
It wasn't like I didn't matter that much. But.
Yeah.
No, they were.
I don't remember.
That's fine. I don't feel like I can't judge him as guilty for not divulging stuff. That's fine.
Here's what I used to think.
I mean, I know there's, I know for sure that there's nothing to hide, really. I mean, it's,
right.
Right.
You know, back in the early days, like back when we were in the garage, even I did used to get upset with brewers who didn't want to.
Sure.
And you know, I was pretty new at this anyway, so I think I developed that opinion because brewers that I really respected gave us all the information.
Yeah.
You know, Vinny would come on and give us
Those
everything.
that had more to lose would give us everything.
And I remember just going, well, if they do it, then these other guys who don't. I remember thinking it was kind of douchey not to do it. Yeah. As the years have gone by, I think I've figured out that everyone does business differently. And if they feel like they're doing something and protecting that is important to them, you know, that's their prerogative. That is their business. Who am I to say you shouldn't do that? So I've stopped. I don't think I really call anybody out on the show about it if they don't answer. You know, I just go, all right, that's you. It's fine.
Well, especially because everyone's worst fears panned out. Like, people really did take the techniques and really did start 4,000 more breweries.
Right. Breweries, if they want to be pissed at anything, be pissed at us.
Yeah.
I mean, because we're the ones who have been distributing this information for the last 10 years. So.
Yeah, we don't want all the beer tastes like Russian River. Jesus, that'd be horrible. Just stifle that guy.
Can you imagine what that would be like?
Where
Oh my
all
God.
beer tastes like
The
Russian
world would be
River.
Terrible world.
We definitely don't get it as much as we used to. We get that all the time when we first started.
Yeah.
We can't say that, or they would just avoid it.
Yeah.
Then we get the Chris Dunson, Lost Coast.
Yeah.
He couldn't tell us. Because his
boss. Yes, that's true. Sometimes we get a brewer who has responsibilities.
Non-disclosure.
Yeah, things like that. You know what I might speak up about if we ever catch it happening is, you know how brewers come on all the time and they thank us for all the information over the years and they became pros. If in the same interview they then also refuse to give information on the show, then I might go, you know, don't you think it's kind of a dick move if you gleaned information from all these brewers over the years, but you're now about to hold it back?
Yeah.
Wait, aren't we still talking about society?
Yeah. Case in point.
Yeah.
Oh, well, now when you put it that way, Dougie.
That's funny. I barely remembered that. I turned to Bevo and I was like, hey, do you remember this? And she was like, all I remember is Doug farting. And that's all I remembered, too.
Just the worst thing ever.
He also can braid a beard. I remember that.
Oh,
he had a nice braid that he put in my beard.
And Travis wasn't in studio, the brewer. He was only here on the phone for a portion of it. So I'm wondering if, they just didn't know.
They just went on the offensive.
I don't know. Well, anyhow, those are our opinions. So there you go. All right. I got to get through this. John writes in real quick about his local homebrew shop. I wanted to send a note to thank you guys. You rock. I work at Brock's Homebrew Supply in Melbourne, Florida, and I pass on your information to my customers daily, and I also direct them to your site and your podcast in order to make my job easier and more fun. Thanks for giving me the knowledge and confidence to excel in my job. You've changed my life. Keep up the work. Thanks, John.
Nice.
You're welcome.
Changed his life for the far worse, I'm sure.
Oh, this one's kind of funny. Hey, BN Gang, just a quick and enthusiastic applause for the drum circle tangent that went down on last week's episode, which was me. I hate drum circles. You have to go back and listen. I'm a podcast listener and was in the middle of cellaring a tank when I heard your rant, and our lab guy was doing his labby thing when I doubled over with laughter. I saw the rather concerned and confused look on his face, which made me laugh even harder. Because basically, F drum circles. But also, if I can add, F douchebag guys who show up at house parties with guitars. No, it won't make my panties drop. No matter how good your rendition of whatever lame John Mayer song you try and pull out of your ass. Maybe you could make it a PSA for the week. Don't be that shitty couch musician that everybody embarrassingly nods and claps for. And F white people with dreads, too. I'd need a Xanax, though I really... if I let myself rant about that. Cheers from one of your 8 loyal female listeners.
Oh.
So there you go. Heed the advice, drum circle idiots. Here's a good one about White Labs. Hi, asshats and Bevo. I don't know if this piece of information has been shared, so I thought that I could do it. A few months ago, a local homebrew shop here in Norway received a shipment from White Labs that, due to an error, had been shipped warm. It was measured at 24 to 26 Celsius at arrival. The homebrew shop wanted to dump the batch, but White Labs urged them to keep the yeast and have it tested at a lab. So here are the results, which are pretty interesting. This was from the new White Labs lab in Copenhagen. White Labs 002 still had 98.6% viability, and it had like... I don't know how many million cells that is. A bunch of millions.
That's
WLP 830, 98.8%. WLP 810, 98.8%. WLP 001, everyone's favorite Cal Ale, 99%. And then a different batch of 001, 99.9% viability. Then they sent it to, I think it's maybe pronounced Ringnes, something like that. Norway's largest brewery sent it to their lab. WLP 001, 97.8% living cells. 810, 97.2%. And WLP 090, 92% living cells. So they did a new test on 001 after about 2 months, and that still showed 95.5% viable yeast and around 1,100 million cells. So what's that, 1.1 billion cells? And he says this was with the old vials, right? Not even the new packaging. So he goes on to think, so I imagine the results would be even better with the new pure pitch. So... he thinks maybe, I guess, a lot of us have overpitched or made unnecessarily large starters over the last few years. So suck it, Jamil, he said. He doesn't mean that. He also says he's just kidding. Keep up the good work.
There's a big difference between viability and vitality. You can have live yeast cells that are unhealthy and kind of on their last leg and not doing very well. And you can have yeast that's ready to go and ferment some beer.
Yeah, but with the percent amount of cells left in there after it being mishandled, and then the actual cell count, that's pretty badass.
Oh yeah, not diminishing White Labs' quality in maintaining living yeast at all. But there is a reason to still do a starter.
A starter, I see.
What would you expect it to be? 50%?
Oh, and
over that long
that period of time?
Yeah.
If I would have guessed, probably like it would. Might be 90 or something by then, but it was.
Oh, but it's like approaching
much higher than I thought.
It was way at the
really
top of the scale still.
Perfect, yeah.
Yeah. All right, that was from, forgive me for butchering your name, but Oyvind is how I'm reading it in English.
Thanks for the information.
Yeah, good information, and I'm telling you, those viability counts are pretty sweet. So, all right, and then lastly, this is about lunch meat. Hey, Brewcasters. There are actually listeners that haven't heard anything else that you guys do. I shared lunch meat with a coworker who then sent it around to a bunch of his buddies. As a result, it has now made the rounds at the Atlanta Police Department. And apparently they like it. Long live the meat. Hopefully enough is donated to at least repair the motorhome. We don't want y'all to die. Cheers from Jim.
Send the police department that Kickstarter link.
Yeah.
Pass the ad around for that.
Anything to donate.
Yeah.
Lunch meat. I forget if our donation thing is over.
53 hours left.
53 hours left.
Yep.
And I think we're only like $8,000 short.
More than $8,000.
Atlanta's Capedi's got that down in the evidence room right now. You're good.
29 left.
Oh, wow. Yeah, well, a lot of fans out there,
But
really.
That's $1,300 more than you had before.
Yeah, not when I send it all back to those listeners because we didn't meet our goal.
Oh, you have to send it back with Indiegogo?
Well, I don't have to, but
paid.
I'm not going to do more lunch meat shows if we don't meet our goal, so I don't feel right about taking anybody's money.
Oh.
You know, I just don't think it's the right thing to do. And, I mean, apparently we have 12 people who have been making all the noise about lunch meat, so sorry, Magic 12.
You could take the $1,400 and make more lunch meat.
Who's counting those numbers?
No, actually, I can't. I cannot take the 14. It is against every fiber in my body to take $1,400 and do more lunch meat. After doing how many episodes for free?
Yeah.
Well,
forget minimum wage series. Divide 1,400 by, I think we've done something like 80 shows.
Well, you should stop living in the past. And you're almost to a fifth. What if you just do one show? If you get to $2,000, will you do one?
I'll tell you what. I'm so disheartened by the lack of support in lunch meat. I'm thinking about quitting this show too. Yeah, I'm sick of all of it.
Well, the lunch meat hasn't even been free. It's cost you money. You've paid in.
Right.
That's right. It's at a loss.
Actually, this one has cost me money too.
Totally.
Yeah.
All in all.
You ought to go to the poker table because then at least there's a chance some will come back to you if you're just going to give money anyway.
I'm like the only business owner in history who gets congratulated so much for the thing that has been created that hasn't made a fucking dime.
It's the same thing. It's the way my art works too. People are like, "Oh, you should sell this," and I'm like, "Oh, okay." To who?
Great idea.
Well, to the not me, but like there are lots of people out there. Not me, but lots of people.
And breweries do it all the time too. They come, "Oh, I would love to be a guest on your show." I'm fucking sure you would.
Yeah.
Because it's going to get downloaded 1 million times in 2015. That's why you want to be on the show for free.
Your charity rivals Mother Teresa.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I think that we have listeners in Calcutta for sure.
Yeah.
Jason Petros is on line 1.
I don't have time for Jason Petros.
That's what I thought.
I'll talk to him at the break.
He's on his honeymoon.
We'll see if I have time for him.
He's on a long line.
But as of right now,
they stand in line somewhere.
I don't have time.
Does he want to be on for free?
Yeah.
Tell him we just had a new policy change.
Right.
This minute, actually.
All right. I'm going to take a quick break. When we come back, Jay Goodwin from the Rare Barrel will be on the line with us talking about his Great American Beer Festival wins. Hang in there. It's The Session. We'll be back.
You're listening to the Brewcasters. On the Brewing Network.
Since the first time the Brewing Network microphones turned on, More Beer was behind it. More Beer sponsors the programming on the BN because, like you, they love brewing. And like the Brewing Network, they love sharing their knowledge. Morebeer.com isn't just a website to place your next equipment or ingredient order. Morebeer.com also gives you access to free beer information that will make you a better brewer. Go to morebeer.com and click into the Learning Center. You'll find podcasts, technical facts, video tutorials, and more, including access to The Buzz, More Beer's social network of more than 5,000 members. And some of them might even be crazier about beer than you are. Get over to morebeer.com today and take advantage of The Buzz, the forum, the Learning Center, and make sure you're signed up to receive the newest More Beer catalog. More Beer, bringing you absolutely everything for beer making.
The 21st Amendment.
Watch out!
Do you like beer? They make beer.
Watch out!
Do you like friends and fun? They make friends and fun.
Watch out!
Do you still like to have a good time? The 21st Amendment.
Watch out!
The 21st Amendment in San Francisco, located at 563 2nd Street, 2 blocks from the building where baseball is seen and played. Try their beers in the pub or try them in the can, featuring Monk's Blood. Made with real monk.
Watch out!
So why not have the best time of your life? Go to the 21A and Sean O'Sullivan will personally greet you with a can of Monk's Blood. The 21st Amendment.
Watch out!
This advertisement is not in any way affiliated nor associated with the 21st Amendment Bar and Pub, nor its subsidiaries or affiliates. This telecast is not copywritten by the 21st Amendment for the private use of the Brewing Network. Any use of this telecast without Jamil Zainashev's consent is prohibited. Suck it, JP.
Your support of the Brewing Network means everything to us. We couldn't produce shows without you. And we love giving you something extra for that support. Like Brew Your Own magazine. You already know it's a great brewing magazine full of recipes, equipment how-tos, discussions of beer styles, and brewing techniques. Whether you're new to brewing and just starting out or you're an old pro, you'll always learn something from the articles in Brew Your Own. Plus, there are amazing special issues like plans for building a Brutus 10 system, 250 classic clone recipes, and the Homebrewer's Answer Book. Brew Your Own magazine and BYO.com are awesome resources for any brewer, whether for yourself or as a gift. When you subscribe or resubscribe from the Brewing Network homepage, you directly support programs like this. Get a great magazine and support the Brewing Network. Subscribe to Brew Your Own right from thebrewingnetwork.com.
Hey, Wooly, I'm beat. Can we find a nice tree to just hang out in for a while?
You're beat. I've been swinging through this forest for 50 years, ever since we first escaped from the circus. I know, but there's got to be more to life than exploring this creek and trying to populate the valley by copulating with loose, hairy girls.
Marquis, stop.
Look!
What is that?
It looks like a man-made treehouse.
With fresh food.
And craft beer.
Welcome to the Creek Monkey Tap House, boys. Grab a seat. Creek Monkeys drink free.
Awesome!
The Creek Monkey Tap House in Martinez, California takes their mission of fresh food and beer seriously. They only serve locally raised beef and chicken, as well as local sustainable produce. It's better for you and the planet, and it just tastes better. The beer and wine at Creek Monkey Tap House are chosen with the same care for the highest quality and rotate frequently to make each visit an adventure. Swing on into the Creek Monkey Tap House and enjoy a new legend of amazing food, beer, and wine. The Creek Monkey Tap House, online at creekmonkey.com.
Brewcasters are back.
888-401 beer. Whatever.
All right, welcome back to the program. Thanks for hanging out with us. It's our Great American Beer Festival show. Plus, we're going to be doing some news later on. We talked to Chuck Silva and Meg Gill, two of the biggest stories in craft beer right now. So hang in there for that. I might have Jay Goodwin on the line right now. Jay, you with us, buddy?
That might have been his voicemail, but he's ready. He just texted me, so try him again.
Okay. I should have left him a shitty voicemail. Let's try again. Let's try Jay again. Was he on his way to the Giants game, huh?
Yeah, Dodgers-Giants.
Oh.
It's not like we're on a schedule, Jay.
Well, so is he. 7:15 game.
He won on his birthday, too, by the way.
Oh, man, what a day for him.
Yeah, 2 medals in one category, and it was his birthday. Jay Goodwin from the Rare Barrel. How are you, buddy?
Doing good. You guys are really interrupting me trying to get a buzz on at 21st Amendment right now, pre-gaming for the Giants game. But how's it going?
That's the place to do it. They also did well at the Great American Beer Festival.
I am drinking my second toaster pastry,
Nice.
silver medalist. It lives up to that billing. It's great beer.
Are they giving it to you in the tall boy cans there or on tap?
It's actually, they're serving it in mugs made of silver.
That's appropriate.
Well, they work.
I think
They work
I
fast.
think I'm going to pocket this mug. It must be worthwhile day.
You should do that.
What category was that? Red ale?
American sour ale.
No,
maybe
that's,
Imperial Red.
Double red, I think.
Double red.
Oh, no.
I only know one category, so I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
But yeah,
You're a
it's
one
double
category
red.
kind of guy.
Yeah, it was the
But you do
double
well there.
red category.
Yeah, way to pick one category and then just that only works if you can really kill one category. You really sound like an idiot unless you win 2 medals in one
In one
and then
category.
It's like, okay, well, all right, fine.
Jay, did you enter 27 beers in the one category?
Well, no, they limit it now. But yeah, I mean, it's sort of like our bread and butter category. We tried in previous years to enter other categories, but really we're an American brewery making sour beer, so we're going to enter American sour. But it was a big thrill to walk up on stage and grab a couple medals, and it's also pretty cool that our friends over at Perennial dethroned us for the gold. That was an awesome moment. We took a nice picture afterwards with all of us together, so
nice.
At least we kept it in the family.
That's a great flight of beers right there. So it was the American-style sour ale for those of you at home. And just to give you a little rundown, you can go watch this over on our live stream page. We had the whole award ceremony there. But to give you a little rundown, they give the bronze, then the silver, and then the gold. And the bronze comes up, and it's our boys at the Rare Barrel for Apropos of Nothing. Then the silver comes up, and they kind of just run through it. They don't wait for you to go accept your award because it would take too long. So as the boys from the Rare Barrel are celebrating their bronze and they're on their way down, they announce the silver medal, which goes to the Rare Barrel for Ensorcelled.
Did you do an about face to go right back up?
Well, they weren't even there yet. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. You're like wandering down. They don't wait for you to.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, that's a separate step to go up and get your
So
picture
they're on their way down for the bronze, and the silver gets announced. So now, the whole room is like you hear the gasp and the murmur, waiting for the gold, and then Perennial wins the gold, which is
everybody would have stood up though, wouldn't they?
Oh man,
wouldn't they?
I feel like we would have rushed the stage.
Yeah.
Jay.
Yeah, obviously it was a huge disappointment.
Seriously. So, all right.
It was hard to realize, like, we were so excited to win the bronze that we all just shot up and got really excited. And then the silver came up, and I didn't even know that we had won. Someone had, like, tap me on the shoulder and tell me. And then all of a sudden, we had to, like, stop celebrating. Because we did have more beer in the category. It's like, oh, wait, whoa, what's going on here?
Right.
But yeah, no, I'll take 2 medals all day for sure.
Oh, you kidding?
Yeah, the Perennial people are great people too. So
and good beer.
Yeah, awesome beer. Awesome.
2 medals in separate categories is amazing. 2 medals in the same category is off the charts. It's very cool. So tell us again about the beers. I know we've talked about these 2 beers in the shows in the past, but that's okay. We got new listeners all the time. The bronze medal, Apropos of Nothing. Describe this beer to us. What is it?
That was a fun beer that our other co-founder, Alex Walsh, and I we sort of blended just very quickly. We just decided, okay, we have this base beer that we really like. We have all these spice and fruit tinctures going, and I kind of just pulled Alex out of the office and said, hey, let's blend a beer. And we used some of the ingredients that we hadn't used before, like elderberry and lavender, which are kind of not ingredients you think would go together or maybe have even heard of in beer. And they just really clicked and went together. And the whole process of blending that beer was a little apropos of nothing, which is why we called it that. It was just, hey, let's just do this. And threw it together, and it really worked out. That's a beer we love how it turned out. It's got this explosive floral and fruity aroma, so we were happy to see that win. And then Ensorcelled, the silver medal, is a beer that we won for before, actually, which is a big thrill. It's a dark sour beer with raspberries, and why I love that beer is because there's like just a touch of roast, not a whole lot, because I don't think there's a lot of roast in a sour beer, but just that touch of roast kind of balances out the sourness in the raspberry and almost mimics, when you eat a raspberry, you get like that seed, and it's kind of like astringent.
Yeah.
Just that touch reminds you of that seed to me, and that's why I really fell in love with that beer. It's just a raspberry experience like not really a lot of other beers. You wouldn't expect, red fruit going into a very dark. I mean, it's like a black beer, so that beer's a lot of fun, and it's been maybe our most popular one so far.
What is the roasted malt, assuming it's roasted malt, that you get that roast flavor from?
Yeah, we use black malt, so I think that's 300 or 400 level bond, but it's at a really low level, so like single digits percentage. Not a whole lot, and it's balanced by oats and wheat and spelt stuff we use in a lot of our other beers. So really smooth mouthfeel, but it's just that touch of roast.
I actually have a beer making question. Can I ask it?
That's allowed.
Obviously, a roast, a beer with a base beer with roast in it's going to be a lower pH. Does that lower pH carry through into the finished beer in your case?
Yeah, I mean the starting pH is the same as our other beers, but I'd say the main pH drop obviously comes from the lactic acid bacteria, but certainly it does make a difference. And we haven't been open for that long. For those who don't know, we're only about a 2-year-old brewery, and so I'm interested to see if our dark sour beers age better than our lighter sour beers, because that's kind of the reputation of dark beers in general.
We're stable.
So you combine low pH plus a dark malt bill, maybe those beers age a lot better. But so far, just being 2 years old, all of our beers I think taste pretty good. At 2 years old or less, but I'm especially interested to see how this one ages.
Mm-hmm. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, was it in Sourcewell one of the first beers you put out?
It was, yeah. We kind of had like an original 4 of beers, and it was one of our very first beers, and that was it's good to get that good feedback. We entered that beer a little less than a year that it was blended at World Beer Cup. And it won the gold for American Sour. That was a big thrill for us.
Nice, yeah.
That's my favorite.
A thrill for me was getting to drink a bunch of it on Saturday night. You still had some there.
Nice. Yeah.
It was great, man. We're all drinking that beer.
Yeah, and they had just lines around the room. Them and Wicked Weed. Wicked Weed had 2 lines going to their booth, both of them wrapping around the festival hall.
Yeah, how did
never heard of that brewery.
How did your supply do?
Oh, you must have.
What's that?
You ran out of beer, right?
Your supply, yeah.
Oh yeah. We ran out pretty fast. It's hard for us to send enough beer. Sour beer is in limited supply, so we try and send as much as possible. But we had a pretty substantial line the whole time. I thank you to anyone who's listening who came out for the festival and stood in line, and I just hope that as you stand in line, I think expectations for the beer you're going to get at the end of that line are raised. So hopefully we at least put out a decent beer at the end of that long line.
Now, was the batch of either one of these, but in Sorcel, you said you've won for that before. Was the bottle that you sent in for the competition from the same batch that you won with before?
It was. That's a good question, Justin.
Well, because about aging, right? So it's been aging since then too.
Wow.
Yeah, this is the older batch of Ensorcel that won. I just feel like it was the better representation of kind of what the category was looking for. I really like the new batch of Ensorcel. I think there's a lot of great things about it. But we just decided to go with the old one, the one that had won before. So
do you just have a total of 2 batches of Ensorcel, and you sat with those 2 and then just picked the one you thought was the best? Or would do the best,
pretty
for
much.
that matter? Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. And then we're actually in the process right now of making a 3rd batch. So
nice.
We're going to try and learn things from how we made the first one, how we made the second one, and just kind of go from there. So hopefully it just keeps getting better and better.
Okay. And how about apropos of nothing? Was there only one batch of that to choose from?
Yeah, there was only one batch of that. That was one of our club beers, our ambassador at Sour Club, which quick shameless up. There's some traffic out here. Quick shameless plug, our club is going on sale for new members October 1st.
Oh, good.
At 9 a.m. Pacific. So that was one of our club beers, and we've actually done really well with our club beers in competition. So I guess what we try to do with the club beers is kind of pick unique things that we really love, things that we think our club members are going to love too. And they just happen to be the same things we enter into competition, and they seem to do really well. So hopefully some people out there listening will be able to experience some of the rare barrel beer through that.
And what do you get, like a case a year, or even more than that, I thought, with the club? What's the deal?
Well, the base is you get 10 bottles of beer, all sour beers. That's all we make. And then I think what a lot of people love about the club is that you get access to kind of like the first right to even more beer. So if you want our sour beer, you can pretty much get as much as were possible to give, one person. You'll get a growler and growler fills and all sorts of other benefits like a discount. A lot of people from out of state get this, and then they get a trustee from California to pick it up for them. So that's been kind of fun to, we go out to Denver and talk to people, and they're from Maine or Florida or Nebraska, and they're like, oh, yeah, I've had a bunch of your bottles of beer, and I've been in the club for 2 years. That's pretty cool,
That is cool.
People who don't live in Berkeley can try our beer as well.
That's fun, definitely. Well, look, congratulations. And on your birthday, and I think I heard, aren't you only like 19 or something? Jay is really young. How old are you, Jay?
18, barley legal.
Just barley legal. You're like 25 or something, right?
No. I turned 30 years old a couple days ago.
30, all right.
Old
30.
man.
I thought it was something. Is it Alex that's 18? One of you is really young. 30.
His 30 is coming up soon. Actually, we celebrated his last birthday at BN Winter Brews, and we're sad that the timing doesn't line up this year because we were pretty drunk at that festival last year.
Nice. So were we.
You know what's happened, Jay, is you've become so old that 30 now sticks in your memory as super young. So you're like, what did you say you were, 19?
Like, you have so many years ahead of you, Jay.
So,
at least 8.
The Rare Barrel
That's
guys and the Wicked Wheat guys had a
cornhole
tournament. I want to know who won.
Oh, who won cornhole?
Oh, you guys know the answer to that already. Come on.
Yeah, Wicked Wheat kicked their ass.
Come at the king, you better not miss.
Yeah. I went by the Rare Barrel the week before GABF, and they had a cornhole set up in the brewery practicing for GABF.
That's important stuff.
Yeah, we took them down 3-2, and actually on the line was we're going to do a collaboration with those guys, and this game decided who was going to pay to fly the other brewery out to their brewery.
Nice.
Next stop, Asheville.
Nice work.
Awesome.
All right. Yeah, I actually did. I heard that you guys won, so that's nice. Well, happy birthday. Congratulations. I know you got a baseball game to go to, but we just were so stoked about you guys winning. We wanted to talk to you, dude.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Love you guys, and I'll see you all soon. Let's grab some beer.
All right. Cheers. Have fun.
Later, Jay.
Later.
That's just cool. What a win. 2 medals. In the category.
Too bad he's 30.
Too bad he's going to die soon.
Yeah.
Clock's ticking.
Yeah. I've only got a couple months left.
Better get married and pop out those babies soon. That's what I've been hearing since 30-ish. 35, maybe.
Don't tell my wife.
All right. Fun to talk to Jay. Good to see. California, by the way, did great, as they usually do.
Yeah.
But we've had an off year here and there, and this year California was back in full
Yeah, they
force.
got more than any other state.
Yeah, just really killed it. And then to see some of our locals like that do so well.
Washington did pretty well this year, seemed like.
Oh, yeah.
Colorado was second, but Washington.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of people who have been on the show, of course. Some of the smaller breweries, in fact, that have been on the show. I always like seeing them go up there.
And if you come up to me, and we get this all the time, thanks for all you've done for brewing and helping me and all that stuff. And they got a medal, and they're like saying explicitly,
"Oh yeah,
we owe this to you," or something like that. I go, really?
Well, and I've
That's
told
hard
you that makes me cry every time.
It does. They go like,
Funkworks did that to me a few years back, and they had one like medium-sized brewery or something. I always tell this story, but I did a panel with a Saison panel this year. In fact, you can go find this on our live stream page as well. We do panels all week long at the Great American Beer Festival that Bradley over at the Brewers Association puts together, and then we're just there to sometimes I moderate, and sometimes we just produce them and make sure you can watch and check it out. Well, there was one particular panel that Gordon Shuck over at Funkworks, which is there in Colorado, he put it together about Saisons. Well, the panel was Firestone Walker, Wicked Weed, Funkworks. God, I keep screwing this up. There was 5 different amazing. Trinity Brewing was on there. So Jason Yester was on the panel, and forgive me, there's one more, but go check it out because
Allagash.
Thank you, of course, Jason Perkins from Allagash. Sorry, Jason, it was a long week and the brain's just coming back to life. But it was the best flight of beers, like all in one. So a flight. that I've ever had, and I don't even like Saison. But I'm telling you, it was the best flight of beers I've ever had. They were just all stellar beers, and then to hear the cool thing about it was that they were all such a different take. Not one of them was like the other. And we started at one end, and they were sort of more traditional Saisons, like French Saison. By the time we got to Jason Yester and Wicked Weed, they were more sour and some Brettanomyces and stuff like that. So it just went from like, wow, this is an amazing Saison to holy shit, this Saison is like it kind of blew my mind. Right. So All Good Brews, you can go check that out, and an all-star cast. And then the Opal that we tried from Firestone is one of the beers that won
Sour Opal,
for Firestone. Exactly.
Barrel Works.
So Firestone, of course, won. What are they? Mid-size brewery.
Mid-size, brewery.
I think they've won this like 5 times.
5th time.
Is that right?
Yep.
So that was really cool to see.
Very cool.
All right, so we'll talk about some more winners when we come back, and we're going to be talking to Paul Sangster from Rip Current out of San Diego. I know that they're proud of him down there in Southern California. He won Very Small Brew Pub of the Year, I think. I'll double-check that.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yep. Paul, when we come back, hang in there. It's The Session.
You're listening to the Brewcasters. The Brewcasters on the Brewing Network.
Hey, dude, you know what beer this is?
Oh, no, all the labels are falling off.
Yeah, or the ink is run.
Well, if it's the pale ale, you're good, but stay away from the quote-unquote Belgian.
Oh, man, this guy needs to get some grog tags.
Grog tags are reusable, write-on, wipe-off, commercial-grade bottle labels for your brew. The guys at Grog Tag are homebrewers. They wanted great-looking, sturdy labels for your bottles, buckets, carboys, kegs, and growlers. They also wanted a label that not only looks good, but can be easily removed and reapplied during bottling without that nasty glue residue being left behind. No residue, water-resistant, and ice chest approved. Grog tags stay on in water or an ice chest, and they stay legible. Visit grogtag.com to customize your label or coaster from dozens of different templates for free and see how awesome your bottles can look.
It's that pseudo-Belgian.
Yeah, we're getting him some grog tags, dude.
Grog Tag. At least your beer will look good. grogtag.com. For nearly 40 years, one organization has had your back. The American Homebrewers Association. Are you a member? Why not? Join the more than 40,000 brewers who enjoy all the American Homebrewers Association has to offer. Like Zymergy Magazine, in print and online, plus the Zymergy app. Zymergy is the leading publication for amateur brewers around the world. Supporters also get member deals at their local breweries, bars, and homebrew shops. These alone quickly pay for your membership. You'll also get great member-only resources at homebrewersassociation.org and access to AHA events like the National Homebrewers Conference and the National Homebrew Competition. The American Homebrewers Association promotes the hobby of homebrewing, protects the interests of homebrewers, and brings beer lovers together. Become a member today. It costs less than a batch of beer and gives back so much more. Visit homebrewersassociation.org. 3-time Ninkasi Award winner and Grandmaster Judge Gordon Strong invites you on a guided journey of what's new in the world of homebrewing. Modern homebrew recipes, exploring styles, and contemporary techniques available now from Brewers Publications. Gordon brings you specific advice and sensory profiles for as-brewed, award-winning beers with delicious variations to get your creative juices flowing. This is more than just a book of recipes. It sets brewers on the path to discovering what's new in the world of homebrewing. AHA Director Gary Glass says, if you want to enter competitions or just learn more about styles that you might not have experience with, this book is going to help you tremendously. By emulating what Gordon does, you're going to make better beer. Modern homebrew recipes, exploring styles, and contemporary techniques by Gordon Strong. Available right now from brewerspublications.com and find brewing retailers near you.
That's it. I've had it. I am never putting hops in my beer again.
What? Why?
It's just too ridiculous. Insane prices, stupid contracts, high shipping costs, crappy selection.
Dude, you need Nico Brew.
Nico Brew will rock your
f***ing face right the f*** off your f***ing skull. $5 shipping to all 50 states, plus fantastic international rates get you low prices on Nico Brew's great selection of hops and more. Whether you're a home brewer, a pro brewer, or a homebrew shop owner, Nico Brew can get you the hops you need in increments big and small, single orders, spot buys, or full contracts. And there's only one place to join the uber special secret elite bare bones club where you'll get the best deals anywhere.
Holy shit!
NicoBrew.com. NIKOBREW. Nico Brew, your bare bones buddy in the brewing business.
You're tuned into this session because life's too short to listen to crappy radio.
That's right. Welcome back to the program. Thanks for sticking with us for our Great American Beer Festival 2015 show. We can't talk to everybody, of course, but we're talking to some of our favorites, people who we've been watching over the years, and friends and people we're fans of. And Paul Sangster from Rip Current fits that description. Hey, Paul, welcome to the show, man.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
No worries.
Hey, we love winners.
That's right. Paul, you killed it down there this year, man.
We're so proud of the Brewers. They just did a great job, and we're just really excited we won anything.
So I'm not sure that the list I have is complete. I'm using the GABF site. It should be complete. But you won a gold medal in the Bach category, right, for Breakline Bach?
That's right. That was the first medal for us.
First one you got.
Well,
Okay.
You won it for Bach as a home brewer, too, didn't you?
Yeah, when I did Ninkasi a bunch of years back, the first medal I got there was a Bach. It was an ice Bach.
Nice.
There you go.
There you go.
This one was a traditional Bach, though.
Traditional Bach. Okay. And then you won in Scotch Ale with Black Lagoon Scottish Strong.
That's right. And that's one of my old home brews. It's almost exactly the same beer.
I think
it translates.
That was a big beer for him, too. Didn't that win you a bunch of awards?
Yeah.
It did. The one that California people would know is it won the California State Fair Best of Show.
Oh,
We
yeah.
get the beautiful trophy with the gold bear on it.
Oh, yeah.
I think it still sits on my desk. People joke about it all the time.
Nice. When was that? Is that 2010?
I think it was 2011. I'm not totally sure. I think it was 2011.
Look at that. And it's only been 4 years. I mean, really, it's such short periods of time.
Are you going to come out with any new beers, or just keep brewing the old homebrew recipes?
Oh, no, we're not smart enough to come up with new beers.
Hey, stick with what you know.
Yeah,
actually,
it's working.
Look at Jay Goodwin.
Well, I've been to the tasting room there. They're all really good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're smart enough to not come up with any new beers. Is what seems to be happening.
Yeah.
Now, and then what ended up the result of this is that you ended up winning. I guess it's very small brew pub and brewer of the year, right?
Hey, you were supposed to research that when you went offline.
I know.
What happened?
Is it brewery or brew pub? That's what I always get confused about.
It's brewery.
It's brewery. Okay.
Yeah.
I get confused because I thought it was your brew pub. What was I at when I was in San Diego? That's not.
It definitely seems like a brew pub, but it's actually a tasting room with a restaurant.
Yeah.
There's no brewery
Wait, so
inside
what's
it. The brewery is actually in San Marcos.
Oh, okay. That's where I
That's
get
the
confused.
difference.
Got it.
Yeah.
So very small brewery. I love how they keep adding categories too. Next year, it'll be very, very tiny brewery of the which
minuscule brew pub.
Right.
I also feel like for your sake, Paul, they could come up with more clever names than like very small.
It's insulting.
Small.
It's just belittling.
Teeny weeny, what do you want to say?
And the gold medal for a brewery no one's ever heard of goes to Rip Current.
All right.
So is that smaller than macro or micro? What is
it's less than 1,000 barrels, I think is what they said.
Oh,
but
okay.
We've been fielding lots of jokes about the very small, believe me.
Oh, you have?
Wait a minute.
Already.
Well, the vast majority of the members of the BA are under 400 barrels.
Oh, yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like nano breweries.
More than
to
half.
me. Wow.
Under 400 a year.
Okay. So
I'm sorry. It's maybe 75%, but I'm just saying.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah. Now, Paul, have you won at the GABF before?
No, first time. And we were just ultra stoked.
That's so
And we were sober, which is really unusual. Usually we're completely wrecked for the award ceremony.
Well, that's why they do the award ceremony at 10 a.m. now.
Yeah, well, that doesn't always help. Because I was wrecked last year and it was 10 a.m.
Yeah, maybe you did win in previous years, but you were face down in some gutter somewhere, and the stage was empty.
Good point. I didn't think about that.
So tell us a little bit about the beer so that we can learn. Let's start with the silver medal winning Black Lagoon Scottish Strong, which is you put in as a Scotch ale.
Yeah, it's 10%. I like a nice dark caramel kind of flavor to it to be the dominant flavor, and then try to mask the high alcohol. Bitterness is low, of course, because in Scotland, hops are rare, so traditionally their beers are all low in IBUs. The interesting thing, and Jamil talks about this in his book too, is there's two cool ways to make this beer style. One is to hard boil the, when I was a home brewer, I would hard boil the first 3 gallons, maybe add a little bit of an acid to it to try to get some caramelization by lowering the pH. And then I get the caramel flavor that way. But as a pro brewer, we actually spent a lot of money to buy a boiler, even though we're a little dinky 15 barrel. So I really can't easily hard boil, a very small part of wort. So we had to make an adjustment to add in Crystal 120, 77, and 45 to kind of pick up a little bit more of that caramel flavor and do it with malts instead of the hard boil. So that was the big change. Besides that, I think it almost tastes exactly the same as the homebrew. I didn't really mess with the recipe at all.
Very good. How old was the beer that they judged?
Good question. We probably made it about 6 months ago, and it was a batch that we really, really liked. Yeah. But we actually didn't have room to put it on tap because all 20 of our taps were taken.
So it aged a little bit more.
Yeah, so it got aged, and it certainly, that improves that beer style for sure.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I thought maybe if you could get some older. Well, save some of that for next year and check on it. You can maybe enter it again.
Yeah, ironically, so we've entered World Beer Cup once and GABF once before this. And this beer made the final tables both times.
Okay.
But this was the best batch, so we were really happy that it got through. Yeah. But we will definitely save bottles for future competitions.
Excellent. Yeah, success builds on success. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, how long do you typically wait on this beer if 6 months is long?
Yeah, you let it. To me, I'm a big palate guy. You taste it and see what it needs. This particular beer, I would have been fine releasing after a month for sure.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Previous batches, I would have said 2 or 3 months. So you don't have to wait that long. You just want the flavors to meld a little bit and the higher alcohols to kind of oxidize a little bit and estrify.
What's the ABV on this one?
It's 10%.
Okay, so pretty up there.
So the goal was just get the judges drunk, is what you did.
Exactly. That's what everybody's trying to do.
It's hard not to in that category.
Yeah, a couple ounces, and they're feeling great.
I'm sure they're not complaining. But I used to work behind the scenes of the competition. I used to see all the beers these guys had to drink, and it's not an enviable task. It's actually a lot of work. But they're pretty happy when they come out.
I feel the same. That it's not an enviable task. Not that I would be asked, but I wouldn't do it. I don't want to do it.
I could judge beer for an hour, but not for 3 hours in the morning, 3 hours in the afternoon. Forget it.
For 3 days.
Yeah.
Day after day.
Could you do it in shifts? Has anyone ever proposed that to prevent fatigue like that?
Well, they do, sort of.
They have breaks and everything.
And it's a 2-part day, right? Yeah. And you only do, what is it, Paul? Do you know, 2 categories a day as a judge, I think?
Yeah. So the way it works is there's usually 2 or 3 flights in the morning and 2 or 3 after lunch. And it's all the same judges judge every day. That's the only way they will accept you, is if you judge every session.
Wow.
Yeah.
But you're drinking different things, so the powers that be kind of figure, well, if you're doing a flight of barley wine, maybe we'll give you pale ales or something after that, to kind of ease you through your day.
Right. And I've known people, I don't remember if Sully or Whitey or something, who have had barley wine at 8 in the morning, first thing in the morning. They've told me the night before, hey, I'm going in for barley wine at 8 in the morning. I got to go to bed. I'll see you later.
Yeah.
And I just thought, well, that's just kind of cruel. I mean, move it to the afternoon. Right. I don't know.
Jamel's had some rough schedules like that where he just gets massive beers all day, and even they stepped him down to double IPA or something in the afternoon, so he went from 12 down to all the way down to 8,
right,
or something like that. Not really.
But I prefer when they do that to Jamil, because then when I see him in the session, he is a lot nicer.
He smiles.
It's so much more fun by that time.
But it's cool that those judges do all that. They really sacrifice.
No, they work hard.
They could be having a lot more fun in Denver but they're doing that. That's great.
Well, clearly they know what they're doing because our friend Paul won.
There you go.
So,
right.
But you got to give props to the guys who are the stewards too, not just because they're doing hard work, but because when a flight of barley wines go out on your table, while the judges are judging them, you're drinking them back at the steward table.
Oh, right.
You have to know, right? You have to know what they taste like.
Yeah.
They have to walk out with a tray full of cups or glasses later, and they're able to do it.
Amazing. Amazing props, yes. What is the magic yeast for a Scotch ale of this kind?
Interesting question. I take it back. That's something I did change. I used to use Edinburgh ale yeast from White Labs. And for this batch, we actually switched it to London ale yeast.
Okay.
And I'm a really big fan of London ale yeast for most styles that don't have to be super dry to finish. You just have a nice malty character. So I'm a really big fan of that. Definitely prefer it over 002. We experimented with that a lot at the brewery, and the results are much better with London ale.
Okay. Got it.
For us. A lot of people don't swear by that. They like dry English and other White Labs yeast, but for us, this one totally works.
Was the main difference just attenuation, or did you notice a significant ester profile change?
Yeah, I can tell a difference in the ester profile for sure. The attenuation is a little bit less, although but the yeast had done a good job. They attenuated out all the sugars that we needed to. White Labs, they make so many great yeasts. Of course, they're in San Diego with us, so we use them exclusively. But 002 kind of kept petering out on us, so we made the switch, and we've just been really happy ever since.
Interesting thing that you mentioned, the Edinburgh. That's always my favorite yeast when I go to the White Labs tasting room, and they have these flights, and they'll use it in, they'll use different yeasts in beers that you wouldn't think they're supposed to be in, IPAs and things like that. And whenever Edinburgh is in a flight, it's my favorite one every time.
Who would have thought English yeast in an IPA? That's really weird, Justin.
It works.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, those Brits knew.
Crazy Brits.
The West Coast people, they didn't know.
No,
it's
not those
the Brits
guys.
that knew. Hey,
what other beer?
Paul, before we talk about the Bach, I know he's on a schedule, so I wonder if you'd mind we also get Matt Brynelson on the line with us to talk about his winning, too. You all right?
Cool.
He's calling in from a beer dinner right now, and I asked him to. So if you don't mind, we're just going to bring him right in here. Hey, Matt, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great. We're also talking to Paul Sangster, who won Very Small Brewery of the Year from Rip Current.
Hey, man. Congratulations. It's awesome.
Thanks. It was nice talking to you after that behind the booth.
Yeah.
So, Matt, I know.
Do
you remember?
I'm surprised.
I remember.
I'm surprised any of you remember anything.
Matt does not remember for 1 second.
I hung around Matt a little bit. He knows. He was pretty good shape.
Actually, he does.
Dude, I probably was the most sober brewer in that room. I got right on a plane.
You had a
and
flight
flew
that
straight
night.
home.
Yeah.
Oh, you did on Saturday?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
So I know you're at a beer dinner tonight. I just had reached out to you earlier because we wanted to congratulate you and get you to talk about some of the beers that won this year, too. Back to Mid-Size Brewery of the Year again, man. Congrats.
Oh, yeah. We were more than stoked. That's pretty awesome.
5 times.
Yeah.
And
wow.
And for one of the beers...
Actually 6. I don't mean to correct you.
Oh, it's 6!
Wow. In a row?
No, they skipped a year.
No. There was one for Slow Brew in 2001. One for Nectar Ales Brew a couple years later, and then 4 for Firestone now.
Got it. Okay.
Nice.
Well done.
So is there a big range then for what they consider to be mid-size that you've stayed in it the whole time?
Yeah.
I think it's always been 15,000 barrels to what now, like 2 million or some ridiculous
It's a
thing.
huge range.
Yeah.
Got it. Now, I know that one of the beers you won for is probably near and dear to David Walker's heart. You won for your flagship double barrel ale this year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and that always feels good when the original beer continues to pull some medals. That was cool. Really cool.
That is a lot of fun. And then, so you won for, I was trying to think about it because we tasted it on a panel too, but you won for Opal?
Sour Opal, actually. So 2 beers from Barrel Works won, and so Jim Crooks broke his cherry at GABF for Barrel Works. It was pretty cool.
Now, how does that work in the point system? Does Barrel Works count as a Firestone Walker Brewery point? Right?
No.
It does not.
No,
so totally
those,
separate.
Those beers were entered separately.
Got it.
And but we were really fired up. I mean, that actually is as cool as anything that the judges like those beers. It's been about a 3-year project now, and pretty happy with the beers. It's always difficult to pick the categories, especially in these Belgian style / wild ale categories. It's difficult for placement, but I think Feral 1 also won, and that was really cool because that was the very first beer that was ever released out of Barrelworks.
And that's a great beer. We've had that here at the Hop Grenade, too. Good stuff.
What about Pivo? That didn't get overlooked, did it?
No, it won.
No, it didn't. Yeah.
It only won gold.
Oh, that's it?
So
overlooked, yeah.
But other than that, it did great. Actually, I thought it was cool because I know he's a friend of yours and you guys brew together, but I thought it was cool that your Pilsner won in the German-style Pilsner category, and then Russian River's Pilsner won in the, was it just Bohemian Pilsner? Whatever the other.
Actually,
Swickel beer, Killer Weiss or something.
And I think what was really funny there was as Vinny got off the stage, I congratulated him, and he said, "Well, I don't want your sloppy seconds." So
yeah. Last year, yeah.
Good call.
So now, are you going to enter Pivo pre-filtration as his Zwickel beer next year too?
No, I told him, we'll take Germany, they can take France, and we'll be happy all along.
I like it.
Everybody likes that.
Now, Paul, I'm curious if we're going to see any sour beers come out of Rip Current.
Yeah, we're actually planning to brew some sours this year. We're going to do some barrel-aged, and then we're going to screw around with, kettle sours. Probably do that first just to get something out, and we have some barrels set aside.
Okay. And how about lagers? Do you guys do lagers down there?
The Bach that won is a lager.
Oh, of course, the Bach. Wow, my beer knowledge is terrible today.
Well, you did switch screens on your Explorer.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, well. All right. Well, Matt, I know you're busy down there. We wanted to say congrats. And Hammersmith IPA also won, English-style IPA.
Yep. That's the first IPA we formulated back in 2000, but we only make it for the tap rooms right now. But it's all of our regulars' favorite.
I think in the future we should just cover categories in which they didn't win to save time.
Yeah, that Firezone didn't win.
Hey, Matt, just one more thing. Did you see where Chuck's looking to do something down in the San Luis Obispo area?
I did see that.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
Another
cool.
bud to hang with.
We welcome him to the neighborhood.
I'm sure you do.
What do you mean by bud?
We're gonna talk to Chuck tonight about that too, and see maybe we can get some scoop on that brewery. One more question, Matt. I'm not sure if you can answer it, but are you still allowed to? Will you be allowed to enter as Firestone Walker Brewery under these same categories and as a mid-sized brewery next year with whatever partnership has happened with Duvel?
Yeah, I really don't know the answer to that question. I believe so. Although I heard some rumorings that ABI could only enter so many beers because they have so many breweries in the family. So I honestly don't know the answer to that question. But
all right,
yeah.
I thought I'd check because I'll be bummed if I can't, I won't be cheering you on anymore. You're like, well, I don't know, who am I going to be a fanboy of now? We'll have to figure it out.
Well, as long as we bring Grandpa along, I think we'll continue to do well.
Love that guy.
Let us enter one beer, that's fine. He'll still show up.
Serious, I like that. They can't say no to Grandpa, dude. He's too cool.
No. Yeah.
All right, congrats, man. Go back to dinner. Thanks.
All right, thank you.
Later. All right. Okay, Paul, now I want to talk about the gold medal winning beer, if we can do that. Tell us about that one.
Well, it's a lager.
Hold on, Justin's writing.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you guys do lagers.
He's got further questions on that.
Yeah. That's the bottom fermenting one, right?
Yeah, that would be the one. So we decided this past year to make a sequence. We do little beers in sequences. It's pretty much just reusing the same yeast. So we bought some German Bach yeast from White Labs, and then we made a Helles, a Munich Dunkel, a Bach, and then a smoked Doppelbock that was our Pro-Am entry, with of course with a local home brewer. And the traditional Bach, came out really nice, and we thought, hey, this one might have a shot. So we sent it in. It's kind of an interesting recipe. It has a lot of different grains in it, trying to give it some malt complexity. And then just for me, I'm a big fan of when there's a big chocolate note in the Bach. Not a big chocolate note, but so we used 1% chocolate malt. English, sorry all the German folks out there. We did use English chocolate malt. And so it has a nice, pleasant, complex malt flavor, dark breads, chocolate, just a hint of like a slight caramel note in it. Not so that it really stands out, but just kind of makes the sweetness profile kind of more complex. And we brewed it up, and fortunately it lagered okay. It took a little while to clear. That's one of the things that's been the biggest surprise for me as going pro is how difficult it is to clarify lagers on this scale. Much more difficult than when I was a home brewer.
So no filtering of your lagers?
No, we don't filter at all,
Okay.
which certainly that would help a lot. But we're trying to keep all the flavors in the beer that we're putting in. So
how long did this have to lager to clear up?
it took about a month.
Okay.
Which is hard when you're a little brewery like us, and we're limited on tank space.
Sure.
What yeast were you using? What yeast?
It's the 833 German Bach yeast.
What findings ended up actually working, or was it just time?
Well, cold and time were the most important thing, but we use biofine in our beers. And so normally we use less than the recommended amount because we don't want to strip too much flavor. But for this one, for the lagers, we tried to hit it a little harder.
And where do you put that in the process? Do you wait for it to cold filter and then decide, well, it's not, or cold lager rather, and it's not going to clear up, and now we'll add biofine, or do you do it right in the beginning and see what happens?
Yeah, that's a really good question. The biofine does not work very well in big tanks unless it's properly mixed all through the process. So they recommend putting like a tea and feeding it in while you're transferring the beer into the bright tank.
Okay.
We're not that complicated, so what we do is we fill the bright halfway, and then we add the biofine, and then we add the other half, and occasionally we'll recircuit it to kind of mix it up real well.
Got it.
What were you doing as a home brewer?
Good old gelatin, and then I would put it in the corny, and then since I just put it in my serving chest freezer, which I kept pretty cold, and I would just give it a month or so, and then at that point I would I have shortened dip tubes in all of my cornies, and I would just jump it out into another corny. So it would leave a lot of the sediment behind. And that worked pretty well. I wish we could do something like that at the brewery, but we just can't.
You can't just tip over the bright tank and pour it into the other one?
No, I tried to buy a 30-barrel corny, and I just could not find it.
Interesting. I'm a really good forklift driver, dude. I bet I could help you.
All right, come on by.
Give me some straps in about 4 hours. We'll figure it out.
Justin's looking for ways to earn some extra cash these days.
Yeah, seriously.
He'll see you tomorrow morning.
All right. Well, look, you're doing great things down there. And by the way, of all the San Diego breweries, not that you don't produce some hoppy beers, but you're producing a lot of styles that other breweries aren't producing down there, right?
Yeah, we mostly are mimicking what I was brewing at home, which is everything. The goal was to always have at least 20 different styles of beer pouring at our tasting rooms.
Wow.
And we've been able to do that and then some. We're thinking about adding more taps so we can take it up to 30. At both places.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. We did go down there, as you know, during the National Homebrewers Conference to check it out, and I did like that there was a wide variety. Usually when you walk into a place that has 20 taps, it's a tap house like mine, right?
Yeah, exactly. Hey, how's it going to your place? I haven't had a chance to get up there.
Oh, you should come see us. It's going great. We had a really nice summer, and got a bunch of people hanging out right now even. So
nice. Yeah, it's crowded. Check it out.
Yeah.
And Paul, I have a question as it pertains to lots of styles, because I see it here at the bar. Occasionally something will sit on tap for a while. Has there been something that you've brewed yet that just sat too long and didn't sell fast enough to where you could justify brewing it again?
Yeah, we've tried not to hold off styles for that reason. But the very first Rogan beer we made, which we think was the first Rogan beer ever made in San Diego, we did a lot of research. It was really fun to educate people about what the heck a Rogan beer is, but it sat too long for us, and we ended up not dumping any of it, but it did sat around for a while. It's a bummer.
What does your cellar look like? How do you manage 20 taps, making it all in-house?
We got this cold room that we tore out of an old lab in San Diego, and that's dedicated to the 20 taps. It's all direct draw. It's just short runs, and we just stack kegs against the cold room walls. And then we have a separate cold room for all the kegs going into distribution and, to other accounts.
So direct draw only.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Only way to go.
Yeah.
How many bright tanks do you have for all in your brew house, like that cellar?
So, I guess you were probably asking about serving tanks. We don't use that at all. But for bright tanks, we have one true bright tank with the dish bottom, but we bought unitanks so we can carb and clarify in our unitanks. Mm-hmm. So what we'll do is we'll ferment in one unitank and transfer it to another unitank. And for your listeners, they don't know what that is. It's basically tank that has a conical bottom, so you can ferment and pull the yeast out through the bottom. But it also has a port that you can use for carbonating the beer as well. And so you can use a tank for either one. So we just play this clever shell game thing where we're moving beers between the same tanks in order to have a step where we're clarifying and we can add the biofine. The transfer is really important that you do that step. You don't try to do it all in the same tank.
I'm glad you clarified that. I only know what unitards are, so
I'm wearing one right now.
I was confused. They're very cozy, though.
Yes.
All right, Paul. Well, congratulations to you. What a great victory, and it's just I don't know. It's fun to watch guys that we know like you come up the ranks and really do that. So we're happy for you, man.
I appreciate it, and I don't know if you remember this, but when I decided to go pro, I held off the announcement. We announced it on the air on your show.
You're the only scoop that we've ever gotten.
That's why he won.
That's right.
Very small brewer of the year.
I've now decided to stop being polite to people, so I've gone around yelling at people for not giving us a scoop. In Sacramento, there was a beer festival. I went right up to David Walker, and I said, Dave, what the fuck? You couldn't, not even a heads up, not even nothing. I've now just taken to yelling at people.
I was who are you again?
I actually saw Justin walking up to David Walker, and I was like, oh, cool, I'll come up and say hi. Then I heard him start that conversation. I was like, all right, I'll go hang out over here instead.
You just wheeled around and walked the other direction.
Yeah, about face.
So thank you for the respect, Paul. I appreciate it.
Anytime.
All right, brother. Well, I hope we see you soon. Come see us at the Hop Grenade, and we'll buy some beer from you, too. And, man, congrats. We're happy.
All right, appreciate it. Good talking to you guys.
Cheers. Take care.
I can't remember if I ever mentioned this, that last year my buddy Josh got married, and I supplied the beer for his wedding and went to Rip Current, got a bunch of kegs. And it was a wedding full of people. Josh grew up in Louisiana, and it was a lot of people from the South that drink a lot of yellow fizzy stuff. And he was like, keep it real light. I know you're going to go craft, but keep it light.
Yeah.
So I got his sort of hoppy hef. But it was pretty low alcohol. It was a pretty light beer. People loved it. But I also got a little keg of his Belgian triple for the sort of secret beer drinkers.
Yeah.
And that was the hit of the party.
That's what everybody wanted.
It was so fun to watch Josh's relatives from the Bayou get hammered on Paul's Belgian triple.
That's pretty awesome.
And their draws became just unrecognizable.
That's really neat. Wow.
But they're also now craft fans, because now they'll never go, oh, don't give me that dark beer.
Exactly. No, they all got converted. I watched it happen.
Nice work.
Hey, let's get Paul here for the Winter Brews Fest, huh?
Oh, absolutely.
People, you on that?
Yeah, put him on that list.
Rip Current, give him a call.
Send me an email.
Okay, we'll put him on the list.
No,
Moscow.
Somebody in this room send me his email address, and I'll take care of it.
I bet you can find it.
Google it.
All right, we're going to take another quick break. When we come back, we're going to do our beer news. We're going to hear from Chuck Silva. He's got a new thing happening. And a little bit after that, we're going to hear from Meg Gill, who has a tiny little thing happening. Hang in there. It's The Session. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Brewcasters on the Brewing Network.
A few things happened 30 years ago.
ARPANET migrated to TCP/IP, and the Internet was born. Revenge of the Jedi was renamed Return of the Jedi and opened in theaters. Mila Kunis and Emily Blunt were born, beginning a rad fantasy in my mind.
But all of that pales next to the fact that HopTech opened its doors and began blowing homebrewers right out of their mash tuns. HopTech doesn't fuck around. Real people shipping awesome shit straight to you. Their new website is fast and easy to navigate. Or just call 800-379-4677 and let badass bitch Jade and the gadget guy Roberto blow their warm load of customer service all over you. So visit the site or visit the store in Dublin, California and support those that support you. Get your brewing on at hoptech.com.
Say hello to my little friend.
You've heard about White Labs Pure Pitch yeast. Pure Pitch is yeast grown right in its final packaging. That means yeast that has never been exposed to the environment. And White Labs Pure Pitch yeast for homebrewers is now available to everyone at homebrew retailers nationwide. Easy to use, perfectly sized, and ready to pitch. White Labs yeast, packaged using their FlexCell process, ensures the purest yeast on the market. Visit whitelabs.com to learn more about Pure Pitch, FlexCell technology, and how it's created. Then visit a homebrew retailer near you for your own perfectly sized package of Pure Pitch yeast. And you can say hello to your own little friend. www.whitelabs.com. When I order a beer, I want my server to know more about it than I do. I want someone who enjoys good beer and loves helping others enjoy it too. I want someone who knows how to pour a perfect pint for every beer style. I want a Cicerone.
The Cicerone Certification Program is creating the type of people who help you enjoy great beer. Home brewers and craft beer lovers know beer is more flavorful and complex than ever, and it takes some serious knowledge to store and serve beer right. Cicerones know beer. There are 3 levels in the Cicerone program: Certified Beer Server, Certified Cicerone, and Master Cicerone. Cicerones are truly the sommeliers of beer. The best beer locations have a certified Cicerone on staff. Relaxed and unpretentious. Cicerones are tested on storing and serving beer, beer styles, flavor and tasting, the brewing process and ingredients, and pairing food with beer. Learn more about your next beer guide at cicerone.org. Certified Cicerone, because it takes top talent to present a perfect pint.
Do you know the 3 most important rules in brewing? Sanitation, sanitation, and sanitation. And no one does it better than 5-Star Chemicals. 5-Star knows sanitation. You can only sanitize clean equipment. And 5-Star knows how to clean, too. For craft brewers and home brewers, 5-Star has what you need to keep your fermenters, serving tanks, kegs, and draft lines sparkling and free of any beer-spoiling bacteria. PBW, caustic, acid cleaners, Star San, SaniClean, lubricants and defoamers, pH stabilizers, and more. 5-Star Chemicals has cleaning supplies, safety supplies, heat exchangers, pumps, hoses, and valves. And 5-Star is proud to offer eco-friendly products that exceed customer expectations. If you have a cleaning problem, you need the 5-Star solution. Visit 5starchemicals.com or call 800-782-7019. 800-782-7019 and get the 5-Star treatment today.
You're listening to the Brewing Network. Because like beer, radio shouldn't suck.
All right. Welcome back, and thanks again for hanging out with us. We got more winners to talk to tonight, too, so hang in there. We're going to talk to Brendan Goff from Central Coast Brewing Company, who won in my favorite style of beer, Pale Ale. So we're going to be talking to him in just a little while. But first, we're going to do the news. Moskowitz, got news today?
I do. Lots of stories. Man, this was, I'm telling you, the big brewers and the sort of large regional craft brewers, they're writing this segment.
I think we need to start publishing a full-on news show.
Honestly.
Because
there's enough material. I mean, it
if
really
only any of us were qualified, we should do that.
If one of us was a reporter, we could do a show.
We could just do that.
Well, I'll report this to start. This is wineandhop.com, the Wine and Hop Shop, bringing you the beer news this week. After almost 11 years of service, Green Flash brewmaster Chuck Silva has resigned from the company.
Amazing.
In a statement, Silva said that it was so fulfilling to play such a major role in helping grow Green Flash to the 64,000-barrel-plus operation that it is today. He's been there through quite a growth spurt. His wife and he are going to start Silva Brewing Co., as Stacey mentioned earlier in the show, up in San Luis Obispo County. She was an employee as well, I think, since 2004 at Green Flash.
So they're pulling a Bagby.
Yes.
Aha. Well, we've got Chuck Silva on the line to tell us all about it. Hey, Chuck, how are you, man?
Hey, Justin. I'm good, thank you.
Thanks for being on the program. I know I called you late notice today, so thanks for doing it.
No problem. My pleasure.
So, Silva Brewing Company, huh?
That's right.
How long has this been in the works?
It's always been the dream, you know. It's been a long-term goal of mine since home brewing days started in 1994. And I spent my time at American Brewers Guild, got myself a job, and entered the craft brewing industry. And 17 years later, going on 18 years, I've just see an opportunity to go ahead and make a change. And I've got the support of my wife, MJ, and we're just going to go for it and relocate to Central Coast where my mom and friends are, and it just seems like a natural fit for us at this moment. There's some good synergy. You'll be talking to Brendan about his award, and obviously Firestone Walker just killing it up there with making great beers, and several other guys emerging as well.
It's a good time for the Central Coast. A beautiful place to live.
It's a great part of the country, for sure.
Can't blame you for
Absolutely.
that.
Hey, you're going to be closer to us. That's great.
That's right.
Yeah, closer. It's going to be easy drive now.
Yeah.
There we go.
Is your plan to keep
drive through LA?
Yeah, right.
Is your plan to keep the brew house all to yourself? Or are you going to be jumping back in there?
I hope to start it on my own, but I might be looking to just get a quicker start by doing an alternating proprietorship with somebody up there, and I'm still working through that. And eventually, the vision and the goal for me is to have a farm brewery, do it out in the rural areas, in the agricultural spot where I can grow some fruit and herbs and different things that I want to infuse into the beers. And then not hops and barley. I'll let the guys that do that, let those guys do that well.
There you go.
Continue to do that, and I'll just grow some really good local ingredients and embrace that and include that in my lineup of beers.
Estate beers. Huh?
So ideally, it will be my own thing, and and that's the vision for it. And it'll be small, and it'll be something that'll be more local, and it won't be far-reaching.
So just a little backstory so that folks know. Some of the things I was reading, you have been with Green Flash for 11 years, I think you said, right?
That's right.
But you've also really kind of taken them from an unknown brewery to a very, very well-known West Coast brewery. And I know what you're going to say. It's the whole team, and I'm sure that it is the whole team. But you've really been at the helm of that and produced some wonderful beers. And to me, one of the things that's maybe recently allowed you to do is step back a little bit, and now you're kind of the face of Green Flash, and it seems to me like you're almost on the road to like a pretty cushy gig there at Green Flash, and going and starting your own is going to be a big fat pain in the ass, is what I'm getting at.
Well, when you put it that way, forget it.
Yeah. Forget it, right?
It's going to be a
Wait
pain.
A minute. Let me call Mike back.
I don't think you've thought this through.
No, you're absolutely right. I grew it to a point where, other people were taking the reins, and they were taking the responsibility, and they were doing the day-to-day operations, and, grinding it out, and doing the CIPs and the mashes and filters, and I wasn't doing any of that. So except for a pilot batch here and there, or a collaboration brew here or there, and even that was usually run by one of the main brewers anyway. So, I kind of look forward to getting back to it. I'm glad I'm doing it now instead of later. I think my plan was originally do it maybe 5 years from now. And, I started thinking, well, I'm going to have the energy for that. I'm going to have the strength to do all the hard work. And luckily, due to some encouragement from MJ, she said, just go for it. It's what you want to do. So I just decided to go ahead and pull the trigger, and it seems like a good opportunity to go ahead and do something small again, and still keep the creative juices flowing, and work hard for another 2-3 years at least.
Yeah, that's true. Then you can hand it over again. It does. I can't imagine anybody is surprised that a brewer like you wants to open their own brewery, and we've seen it time and again. And if you are that talented, of course it's your dream to be able to have your own place, right? I mean, it just makes sense.
Yeah. Well, this is a lifestyle choice too. So it's a change from, say, the busy. Even though San Diego's got a nice hometown feel, it's a busy place, and getting out on the freeways, you notice it. But Central Coast is not as intense that way, and I get to do it on my own terms. I get to make the decisions on everything, and what the packaging looks like, what the brands are called, and what beers I'm brewing, and then my commute will be ideally from the house down the hill to to the brew house, and on my 10-acre plot or whatever I end up with.
True lifestyle change.
But that's the dream, I walk by and feed the chickens on my way to Mash Inn.
Yeah.
So
Well, Chuck, it is still California, so your plot's going to be about 1/8 of an acre.
Right.
It's a short walk.
So it's a short walk. Yeah, maybe you're right.
Yeah.
You could maybe just roll. You'll be fine.
So, I know property is expensive, but, I hope to own the dirt and, but to live and work in the same place and to be able to have a tasting room where people can come and appreciate what,
that'd be great.
What I'm doing and get some fresh beer as well as some cool rare aged, barrel treats or just some nice stuff that's coming off the farm.
That's really awesome.
I have some extra room there so I can bring my tent, okay? I can come down and
that's good. Tasty wants
spend
to
the
camp.
weekend. Yeah.
You're inviting the drunk public to your house.
Campsite maybe or something.
That's a good idea, Chuck. Yeah, I would love a little camp tasting room. Well, listen, we are happy for you. Can you give us an idea of what kind of beers we might see coming out of there? Are you still going to be the hophead that everyone knows you as?
Well, I don't think that goes away. I love hops.
Yeah.
So, I certainly would put out some West Coast style hoppy beers. I think the first stuff out will be probably something like a West Coast style IPA. But I want to do some old school traditional stuff that's real drinkable. Maybe some Kolsch and alt style beers that I don't have the branding for just yet. So I definitely want to start with some good drinkable fresh beers, and then of course it'll take time to develop some of the other beers that I have in mind. But I do have a vision for many different brews already, and so it's just a matter of working that stuff up and having getting the place together and building it. So that's going to take probably, more than a year. It's going to take some years to pull it all together. But,
sure.
At least I'm going to get it started and start brewing some fresh beer for draft in cans.
And you think you may be able to do the alternating proprietorship model a little sooner than that to actually just get some beers out there?
Yeah, that's the idea. And as soon as I, get that locked down, I'll make an announcement about that too.
Okay, excellent. Well, Chuck, I'll let you go. We wish you luck. This was, I think surprising news a little today because we really just think of Chuck as Green Flash, right?
He didn't fucking tell us all weekend.
Yeah. Scooped again.
God damn it, Chuck.
By the West Coaster. We got scooped by it this morning. That's all right. We do wish you luck, man.
They're close.
Same day.
Yeah, that's right. We got the audio version of the scoop.
That's right. Yeah. No, thanks for calling and asking what I'm up to. So I'm obviously really proud of what happened to Green Flash, all that we were able to produce and everything we were able to deliver on, and now I'm just excited to go forward and do a little bit more just in a different way.
Well, as you should be. Thanks for what you've done at Green Flash. As consumers, we've gotten a lot of great beer out of it. So now we're excited for Phase 2, man.
Awesome.
All right. Good luck, Chuck, and thanks for your time, dude.
Thanks, Justin. My pleasure.
Cheers. There we go.
Cheers.
All right. Chuck Silva.
Yeah.
He's going to kill it. Come on.
He is.
Yep.
It's like when Bagby left. We were all like, duh. Go make a brewery, man.
Yeah.
Biggest thing I got out of that was he said, we won't be far-reaching. He's just going to be a little guy in a little place.
Just stay small.
Well, and he mentioned, too, it's a lifestyle choice. He wants something small and to live in it.
Far-reaching.
He doesn't want to sit in traffic anymore. Can't blame him for that.
No.
And come on, the beer's going to be amazing, so good for him.
Chuck just IM'd me and said he actually already spoke earlier today to NPR, ABC, CBS, and PBS, the BBC, and AP. So we didn't get the audio scoop either.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Well, great. Now I have to yell at Chuck next time.
We got the podcast scoop, though, right? Or, no, we're not on the podcast.
Oh, no, he was already on
radio.
He was on Joe Rogan and Adam Carolla earlier today.
It's going to be my new thing. People are going to get to know it. They're going to see me coming and be like, oh, shit. And Justin's going to yell at. We don't care. It's just that we have to stand here and listen to it.
You think maybe that'll become your nickname? Here comes Scooped Crosley.
God. The day it does.
It is now.
I quit. I'm out of here.
Yes, please. Anybody within the sound of my voice, go say that to Justin at the next time you see him. Walk up to him at a fest and be like, hey, Scooped. Want to grab a pint?
As the producer of this show, Moskowitz, shouldn't you be soliciting these scoops for us? I think, if anything, it'll be Scooped Moskowitz.
And the news curator.
It's my job to know. I do this part.
Actually, yeah.
The HR lady.
You do that part.
Scoop Scotty is so much better.
Scoop Scotty.
Flows much better.
So be careful.
I don't know that I'm missing it until the news comes out on the AP.
Well, that's true.
How can I know?
But when it comes out, pick up the phone.
Or maybe, you know what? I'll just start making it as a matter of course at every festival, every brewer and beer person I talk to. Anything in the pipeline? What's in the works? And I'll press them.
Yeah. You have to go. But no, seriously, because Justin will get pissed off at me again if tomorrow there's a thing.
Exactly. I'm losing my gig if tomorrow some news comes out about this. So please
do it.
Instead of, hey, how are you? Say, hi, when are you starting your own brewery?
Yeah, right.
All right, what else is in the news? We got another good story.
A lot, yeah, God, tons of them. It's hard to even know what to report first. I'm going to go with this one. Golden Road out of L.A., they've been acquired by Anheuser-Busch. How's the big news? That broke over the GABF.
I saw that. Of course, everybody at GABF was talking about it.
A lot of the employees were blindsided by it who were there.
Well, interestingly, our very own Push Eject was sitting next to a couple of Golden Road employees on the plane, and when they landed, everybody's phone starts going off like crazy. And they all look at each other like, wow. That just happened.
Put my phone in airplane mode for 5 seconds and look what happens.
So what's the story?
So the details are pretty sparse, as is becoming the norm for these things. Golden Road says they're looking to further increase their distribution footprint in advance of their second production brewery, which is opening in Anaheim next year. There's not a lot to report as far as how much it was sold for. They didn't say. We can do the $1,000 a barrel estimate that Justin has mentioned
that I invented.
That you fabricated out of whole cloth. That's 40,000 barrels in 2015. They're on pace for. So $4 million maybe.
Yeah. Well, and we were down there in June. We stopped in before the National Homebrewers Conference to check it out, and we know quite a few of the people from there, and including Meg and Jesse, the brewer. Victor Novak, I met. He's one of the brewers. And they were talking about the new production facility in Anaheim, which just sounds awesome, too, which will do I don't know what to their capacity. Why don't we find out? We've got Meg Gill on the line.
Oh.
Meg, what's happening?
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me. It's been a long time.
It has been a long time. Thanks for doing the show on short notice. I sent you a quick, hungover, late notice email today, so thank you.
Short notice, and after doing the rounds on NPC, ABC, CBS, et cetera, et cetera.
Right. Well.
Yeah. You guys have known me a long time, and you haven't stopped giving me shit from the time I left San Francisco, and you said, I don't think a brewery in L.A. will make it.
I know.
Who said that?
I did.
You did?
Yes, specifically. And she keeps proving me wrong.
Oh, my God.
The one time he's wrong.
You're welcome.
Yeah, this was the one time.
See, other brewers should solicit my bullshit now. That apparently the opposite happens.
Yeah, you should put a curse on me. Can you please put a curse on me?
So, Meg.
Hey.
What a crazy story.
Justin.
It is. I haven't talked to you, God, it's been at least a year. I see you all over the place. I see you haven't you been on Oprah Winfrey and I don't even know what anymore. You're on everything.
Oprah hasn't invited me. I might be a little bit too aggressive for that. Does she still have a show? I don't know.
You might be you're a little too aggressive for us, I think.
I think you are.
Maybe it's Meg that I was thinking of when I was thinking of how young people are. Meg is like the youngest powerhouse CEO on the planet right now.
She's also 30.
She's like 15.
I think she's 30, right? How old is she?
I go down in years as I move further away from you guys.
Oh, it's like 11.
I think last time at Firestone Fest she was 19. And
yeah.
Well, first, let me say this to you. Congratulations on all your success. You're an incredible powerhouse in the beer world. Congratulations.
Well, thank you. It's been an amazing journey, being a part of the craft beer business. And to tell you the truth, a lot of it is luck and timing and kind of being surrounded by opportunity. And that's just kind of what we saw with this deal and this partnership. And, to be honest, the operators are staying in and rolling our equity in. So, the media has been a little bit has given it a little bit of a different tune, but I'm not going anywhere, and I'm highly incentivized to stay for a long time, and I'm rolling the dice, with everything I've earned to date, and kind of just putting the chips back into the bigger business, and very highly motivated to see Golden Road get to the next level. So
I can't imagine that anybody is too surprised about Meg focusing on business. I mean, you've always so you grew up in the craft beer world with us. I've seen you work up here in the Bay Area, and you've moved your way up, and then you started your own company there. And to me, it was never an illusion that you weren't an amazing businesswoman, someone who really knew what you wanted and were going to go for it. So I can't imagine that anybody's too surprised. However, what do you think about what people have to say? I mean, you had to know that your brothers and sisters in the craft beer world were going to go, "Hey, Meg, what happened?"
Yeah, absolutely. And, timing was interesting. We had not planned to announce right before GABF, but for a multitude of reasons, that's the way it happened. And when you do a deal like this, you've got to get your licensing done, and so it becomes public record. And we really wanted to get our in front of our employees as soon as we signed, so that, it wasn't out there in the universe and people running around, whether it was GABF or, in and all over LA. So we got people together, and we did miss a few key folks that were on a flight to Denver, unfortunately.
Right.
But it's I don't know if there's ever a good time to make a big announcement like this. But it seemed in person, it seemed everybody was smiling back and applauding and excited about the state of Golden Road's growth and what we plan to do with AB in the future. So, from my perspective, it's been pretty healthy. And my friends, when I was a little scared, especially my old NorCal San Francisco buddies, I was actively involved in the Brewers Guild there. And I was a little timid on the first day of the GABF, and these folks were the ones giving me the biggest hugs. And so that actually felt really nice, that people who've known me the longest really do get it and really do say, hey, this isn't a surprise. It does seem like a good move for you guys. So congratulations. And,
sure.
That meant a lot.
Well, also, most of us are afraid of you, Meg. So that's,
I don't know about that.
I don't think you had to be nervous about anything.
Well, and unlike Justin, Meg is not the type of person that's going to take, whatever cash or accolades that she gets from this and go to some yacht somewhere and just be like, all right, well, I'll see y'all later.
Oh, yeah.
She's going to take that and turn around and either start a new business or remain heavily involved in this one. And she's going to continue to be the dynamo that she is.
Yeah,
right?
I'm going to bail.
Yeah,
but,
you're out. But not Meg.
But Meg's like in it to win. Yeah. I'm out of here.
Hey, Meg, let me ask you a weird question. We're talking big picture here, but the small picture always interests me. What's the first contact look like? Like, does your phone ring out of the blue? You're sitting at lunch. How did the first contact go?
With us
AB.
talking to AB?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was interesting. Like, a few years ago, we started talking to AB about distribution because we work with a good number of their wholesalers in Southern California. And, we got kind of down the road with understanding their who does what in kind of in St. Louis with M&A, mergers and acquisitions. And at that time, we were tiny and we were just starting out, and we really didn't have the scale to even have that discussion. And, we had the funding by our two private partners who just got bought out by AB. And, we said, we're not even near this discussion. Let's keep focused on what we're doing and growing, locally, organically, and with our, private funding to do what we need to do to be, a great SoCal brand. Now, as of 6 months ago, we still had that plan. We got some funding from Bank of America for our Anaheim property, and we really had no financial need for the deal. And then I was actually on a flight at the end of May. This is how fast this happened. Back from Chicago, and I, gave the stewardess a hard time. I was like, I don't drink 312, and you don't have any other craft, and I'm a millennial, and I'm not turning my phone off. God damn it, And she's like, well, sweetheart, I have some good news and some bad news. You know, the bad news first is you do need to turn your phone off, and the good news is we just got Goose IPA, and you know, it was like, hey, you know, AB might have they're listening to their customers, and you know, they might have a plan for, you know, for Goose and for these other guys that they just bought, and maybe we should just talk to them and see where we are. And you know, I was thinking at the time, in 5 years when Anaheim's built out, like, maybe there's a conversation that will help us with distribution, and really had no idea what their vision was for craft beer and what their, you know, need was in California. And then as we started talking throughout the summer, we just kind of fell in love with each other's vision for Southern California, Greater California, and doing it together. So it really has been a nice partnership.
So will the New Deal throw some fuel on the Anaheim build-out? Because I know Victor, when we were down there, was saying it was going to be pretty modest in terms of the speed of filling the whole facility out. Is that going to speed up with the New Deal?
Yeah, they've expressed interest, you know, for us to expedite it, and we're meeting with them in the next couple weeks to see. You know, we're already moving as fast as we can, and you know, we are interested, and they're interested in seeing how some of their resources, whether it's on the engineering side or contracting side, can help us get going quicker. Absolutely.
So, you know, one of the things people have speculated about, Meg, when they heard about this, is that you built this company from the beginning for this moment. What do you think about that? People who are kind of spreading that rumor.
Well, you know, I just told you the story, so clearly it was somewhat of a whim, and that we even started talking with these guys. But you know, I would say that, hey, I am an entrepreneur by definition, and I love the beer industry. I'm putting everything I've earned from Golden Road, from my sweat equity, back into this, and I would say that this is somewhat of an American dream story in craft beer for me personally, and you know, I don't think that sellout is the right term, because I'm selling in, right?
Well, sure, and that's why I actually think people even give heed to that rumor that you may have built the company from the beginning for this, is not because you're a sellout, but because you're smart. Because you're a smart person who could do it. Like, I think I almost feel like they're giving you the credit to say, look, she knew it from the beginning and could do it. And I realize it's a rumor. I'm just saying, I think that's why people even give heed to it. If it were, for example, if I had started the brewery and someone started that rumor, they would go, no, he didn't. He's a half an idiot. The guy can barely feed himself breakfast.
He fell into it.
So that's what I'm saying. It's almost a compliment that this rumor is going around, Meg.
Well, I appreciate that, but you know, I didn't even know, you know, how to spell Anheuser-Busch when I started Golden Road. So I don't think that we definitely weren't talking until very, very recently, seriously. So I will say that this is probably the fastest deal that they've gotten done, and even in, you know, our two other shareholders who know business pretty well, they've said, you know, nothing moves at this speed, like, you know, it's kind of meant to be. You know, and maybe those people that are saying, you know, that knew something I didn't know when I started Golden Road, right?
Sure. Yeah. Meg, important question. Is there now a craft brewer support group with you and like Matt Brynelson and maybe Tony McGee, and you guys like call each other and like, all right, how did today go, guys? What asshole said a dumb thing to you today? Does that happen yet?
No, that's a great idea, though.
Right?
No, I love it. But I will say that the other guys in the AB portfolio have been really cool to us, and you know, have extended open arms, especially at GABF when the sirens went out. And you know, we've gotten to know those beers and those brewers behind those beers at especially at Elysian and 10 Barrel. And, I think that that's going to be a really great resource as we move forward. And our brewers are already, really stoked on that side of things, the collaborative environment that, AB is creating within their portfolio.
And by the way, 10 Barrel won 2 bronze medals at the GABF this year, too.
Yeah. Good for them.
Yeah, they were doing pretty
fantastic.
good. Yeah, they did well.
Hey, Meg, what are you going to? What's your first order of business here, just on the personal front? You going to buy yourself a house out in La Cañada? Are you going to buy yourself a car? What are you going to do?
I am going to build my parents a house. How's that?
Nice. Where?
Whoa.
Yeah. So I live in a pretty cool neighborhood, and I have everything I need, and it'd be nice to give my parents and nieces and nephews and stuff a place to hang out and for me to spend time on the East Coast when I'm not there. So
I like.
Come on, you can't buy yourself one lousy Tesla. You're allowed to indulge. It's fine.
She's like, no, I'll just.
I already drive a decent car,
She didn't just buy one; she bought one for each day of the week.
I don't need. I'll just get a Volt. It'll be fine. I don't need
a Leaf is all I need.
All right, Meg. Thank you so much for your time, and just do us all a favor, and yourself. Just keep making awesome beer. The beer, when we were down there last time.
We will.
Good. When we were down there, we enjoyed ourselves so much at your brewery. We had a great time, and we had such good beer. We took a bunch of fresh beer with us to the National Homebrewers Conference, and it was our after-party beer for most of the week. So just keep making great beer, and frankly, I think that's all anyone cares about, right?
Fantastic.
Yourself included, probably.
We will. We've got a great team of brewers, and I think that they're going to be happy with the new resources and ability to make more and more better beer.
Good. That's what we want to hear. All right, Meg. Thanks again for the short notice phone call, and good luck.
See you up north soon.
Yeah, drive your Tesla up here.
Come see us.
My Honda Element that we used to pile 8 of us in and 10 kegs.
I'm telling you, indulge. It's all right.
Thanks, Meg.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Take care. Bye.
Take care.
What you just said, Jay, about that's all anyone cares about, just to keep brewing quality beer. Boy, do I wish that were true.
No, I guess you're right. But I feel like once all of the, bullshit blows over, in the end, that's what people care about. And so here's
what we look for in Goose Island. We're looking to see if the beer's changed.
So here's an example. Bourbon County out of Goose Island, right? Yeah. People still clamor for that beer. Yeah. When we put it on tap here, people go nuts for it. We get it every now and then. It's a rare beer that people absolutely love. And nobody ever comes in and goes, well, if only it wasn't owned by AB, I'd order that Bourbon County. Well, instead, what they do is go, oh, you've got Bourbon County? I'll take it. Done. And that's why I do think that in the end, that's all anybody cares about. If the conspiracy theories and the fears that everybody has come true, that now there's even less shelf space, and because they already own so much of the market, now they can just push their craft brands as well and push out other craft brands. Well, then I guess people care about that too. But frankly, hasn't that been going on the whole time anyway? And small brewers keep showing that they can get that beer on the shelf, and they keep doubling capacity every year, and they keep. So I end up falling on this side of the fence every time, where I'm always like, I don't know, let's wait and see if it's really all that evil. Yeah. You know, I just have a hard time, especially when I know the people. I'll be honest with you, especially when I know the people. I know Meg, and I have a hard time thinking she'd do dumb things with her company. I know David Walker, and those people at Firestone. I can't think of one dumb move they've made since I've been a fan of that company. So I just end up having a hard time thinking they're going to sell it all away for nothing, right? For it to go to crap.
Yeah. If you're in the position that you get approached by someone like an AB, you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not the fool sellout that some think you are.
Yeah, and
but you do get advantages at the same time of being part of the big thing. She mentioned them. You have the contracts available, like the
distribution.
A ton of Hallertauer, all of a sudden they got that.
Well, that's true. I didn't talk enough about that. I should have put that in.
But those are the resources of a big company.
And even glass. Yeah. I mean, let's face it. And so then there is a price competition thing that becomes unfair. But again, it's always been that way. The market has always been unfair. And small brewers have stepped up with amazing product, and us consumers go buy it at a higher price.
It's all about the product,
right?
I don't really have a bias.
Yeah.
No, if Golden Road beer stays as good or gets better, I'll be drinking that beer.
Well, that's what I think. And again, I'm not Mr.
That's
Consolidation either. I don't think it's all, amazing and perfect and fairy tale land. I just think I don't know. I have to wait to see it go wrong myself. Yeah. And if they were happening to brewers that I felt were shady in the first place, well, then I might have something to say. But it's all these people that I've known that I think are such.
I don't blame anybody for taking
great
the money.
Forces and I've always said when AB wants to buy this network, I don't even need a contract. You can post-date a check to me.
Right.
I'm out of here, man. I am so gone.
Call me an Uber. Let's go.
Jesus. I'm going to go buy Tasty a beer, and I'm never going to see him again. That's what I'm going to do.
Well, on the next Monday, where's Justin?
He's going to turn around to cheers you with the pint you just bought him, and you'll be nowhere.
There's a little, like a cartoon smoke
As
behind.
he's walking out the door, I'll be receiving messages of when I'm supposed to meet him for his heroin injection.
Exactly.
You got to fuel up the yacht.
Yeah.
Exactly.
To your own island.
I got to get my sea legs.
All right, let's get through a couple more.
Well, let me just say one more thing.
When's he coming on?
We're going to get Brendan on too. And let me just say one more thing. You know what Meg didn't do was hide from an interview with us.
True that.
Yeah.
Short after
she's
this.
right out there.
I
for her.
emailed her today, and a few minutes later, she's like, Justin, I love you guys. I'll be on the show. Knowing full well we might ask questions she doesn't want to answer or anything else. So I just think they're not hiding for anything down there.
That's great. Yeah, she did great.
All right, now, and now, Meg, put us on the advertising bill, will you? Get us to those AB guys.
Come on, it's all funny money.
She did scoop us, though.
She did, yeah. She did her own video.
Of course.
Yeah.
She did her own scooping video.
Yeah.
We could have helped.
Send me AB's, sponsorship email.
No one will notice.
Let me get on that payroll. I'll start singing the praises of all of them. Goose Island, love them.
You had her on the air. You should have asked her, so when are you going to start your advertising campaign with the Brewing Network?
Yeah.
They've got a lot of ad dollars now.
I should start a competition between Heineken, Duvel, and AB right now.
Bidding war.
Because I'll tell you what, we sing the praises of Firestone.
Yeah.
I can be bought.
That's right.
I will start. I will move over to 10 Barrel faster than you can say Bevo.
Yep.
Fire who?
From where?
Huh?
The Central what? No. 10 Barrel, my new favorite.
We'll go down fast.
Send me a Clydesdale, and that's all I need. I'll start.
Ride a Clydesdale from your house to the Hop Grenade
I
every
will
day.
ride a Clydesdale to work every day. I will sell out right now for a Clydesdale and I don't know what.
Is anybody else envisioning this?
And
A silver train that makes everything cold. You give me one of those?
That's Coors.
I know, but they own something I can promote, don't they?
They got money. That's all you care.
Yeah.
I don't really care. All right, carry on.
All right,
Sorry.
well, so this next story will show you that there's actually possibly going to almost be no difference between Coors and AB because AB launched a bid for SAB Miller a couple weeks ago. This would mean the union of the two largest brewers in the world. It'd create a colossus with a global market share. So this is actually kind of a weird figure. What do you guys think the global market share for ABI SAB Miller would be?
Wow.
I have no idea.
I don't think I know that number.
You know who knows that number? Meg Gill knows that number because she's a Harvard graduate who actually studies her industry. I know. You know what I know about our industry? We have 20 beers on tap. That's what I know. I don't know. $10 billion?
I think percent. What percent of the global beer market?
Percent of it.
50.
35%.
If they combined?
If they combine.
It's more than that.
75.
70-ish.
So Justin's saying 50. We got 75-ish from Beardy and Bevo. 35 from Tasty. Tasty nails it. 35%.
Oh.
So it's not.
I thought that's what they own now.
Striking. No, that would be their global. That would be their market share.
Interesting.
So anyway, that's according to Impact Data Bank. Which who knows what that is. The mega deal would likely have relatively little impact here in the U.S. Antitrust concerns would prevent emerging of operations here. Even though both brewing giants have seen their shares shrink in the U.S. amidst the craft beer boom, of course, they still collectively dominate the market here. ABI owns just under 50%. Miller Coors owns a little more than a quarter. So the way it works is SAB Miller has a 58% stake in Miller Coors. Molson Coors owns the remaining 42%. If this deal comes to fruition, the most likely scenario would be Molson Coors buying out SAB Miller's interest in that venture. And the two brewers they're probably going to also encounter regulatory issues in China. That's the biggest beer market in the world. We're number 2. SAB Miller owns a 49% stake there in CR Snow. That's the top brewer in China. ABI is third. over there. So global behemoth. But the antitrust thing seems weird to me. I guess not for the U.S. because it would be 50. That would be 75% here in the U.S.
That's what I was thinking you were talking about.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah. Even that, I think they can get out of it.
That's too much, I think.
I think they'll get out of it by selling off. I don't know what they do. They have to sell off a portion of something.
Well, I mean, like what
else.
Scott said, they'll sell it to the Canadian Molson.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Well, so I'm not an attorney and I'm not a mathematician. But if you have 75% of the market,
what are you anyway?
I'm not real sure. I'm not much of a producer either. I don't know. I do art, guys.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
If you have 75% of the market, that means 25% of the market there's other people that. So in other words, you have a choice. Like if you go to the shelf,
I see what you mean.
How can it be a monopoly if you have choices?
Well, it's protecting the other 25% of the market, not the consumer. Ensuring competition. When you control 75% of the market, you can set what the price, like you set market price. And so then you can continuously price out the 25%, reducing their
But if our industry has
share.
shown something, it's that the people that drink craft beer are willing to shell out the big. It's not about saving a penny. It's about spending a buck.
But they'll also be able to start doing that with the ingredients.
And with this one,
getting all of the ingredients.
And with this one, it doesn't matter. It's not craft beer. It's macro. And then I think you do care about a buck. I'm not saying that it would be antitrust either. Is there like a general rule you can't own X amount of the market?
Yeah,
or do they just interpret it every time?
Yeah.
It's always just
Case by
interpreted
case.
by the courts, I think.
Yeah.
There's not like
depends
some
on
rule.
the size of everybody else.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of small pieces, then you can't have an influence. But if there's already a 50% or a higher percent guy, then
With this one, I just have a really hard time caring. I don't care. First of all, I'm an American. Since when do Americans care about what happens in the rest of the world? Never. When all of a sudden we care? We don't care.
Look at you, Monroe doctrine over here.
Go sell a bunch of Budweiser somewhere else. Like, I give a shit. The more you sell somewhere else, the better off. So there's that.
in our world, we don't really care.
And I don't know. I also just feel like it doesn't. Is it going to affect craft beer? And that's, when I think of these beer stories, that's what I care about.
Well, they can have more money to buy more craft beer companies.
But look, that's happening, right? I mean, I'm surprised right now at how fast it's happening.
What I'm saying.
But that's happening with or without this whole. I think they ought to save their money. I don't think they ought to do this.
Buy more podcasts.
I don't think they ought to do this. But if I were them, I would stop buying giant breweries and keep buying the little breweries.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly that's where the market share is.
And they are doing that. So it was kind of surprising to hear this.
Save the money.
Yeah.
And I guess they have enough either way. They could do both.
If they do settle the antitrust thing with the Canadians buying Coors, we have another big American brewery back.
Yeah.
Because now it's Canadian and American again.
Can American.
Yeah.
Can we get Meg back on the line and see what she thinks about owning 35% of the market in the world?
I did read some of her other interviews that she'd done with all the people that scooped us, and she was saying, I think she used the word, what'd she say, taking over the world or global conquest, literally something along those lines, that she saw AB as a company that had those aspirations and was in a position to do it, and she wanted to be on that team, is what she said.
Can I tell you something right now? Can I tell you something right now? Meg Gill will be the CEO of AB in our lifetime.
Oh, that's a hell of a prediction.
That's her plan.
I'm not fucking around. She knows that she is she knows what she's doing. And I'm not saying this is her plan. I'm not starting that rumor. I'm not starting that rumor.
You heard it here first.
I'm telling you that AB is going to watch what she does with Golden Road. They've already seen what she did with it, and they're going to promote her from within. Yeah. She will own 35% of the world.
She'll be AB North America.
Yes. I'm going to marry her now. I got to start.
Yeah.
I have to.
She's not single, is she?
What do I know? What I do know is that I will never be that successful. So I need to figure out a way. I got to start working out. I'm going to start tonight.
Yeah.
If she isn't single, maybe we can swap. Or you have a boy, and my girl will take your boy.
Stop talking.
No?
I don't know what that means, but it sounded weird. What I do know is that I'm going to 24-hour fitness tonight. And I'm getting a gym membership, and next week I'm going down and I'm going to start hanging around Golden Road.
Because you're just going to be just there.
I'm going to the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to work my way up. I'm going to apply for a forklift job. And then every time hey Meg, it's just me. Nothing. Hey, I hope you're doing.
It's boy, old Scoop Crossley sure is rich.
Yeah, he's not leaving me alone.
You'll see.
And security's going to roll by and be like, sir.
I will be the first husband of Anheuser-Busch. Is that what it's called when it's the first man? when she's the president of it.
Again.
That makes you the Anheuser, right?
Those are my 2 predictions.
I need you to stop talking.
I think you're onto it.
You'll see.
Let's do a couple more.
Oh, really? Okay.
Why? You hungry?
He's got somewhere to be.
We got time for one more because I got to take a break and then we got to call Brendan.
Yeah, with that break.
All right, let's do one more. Everybody went to Denver to taste beer, obviously, but let's not forget there was another huge draw in Colorado this year: legal weed.
Oh, yeah.
5 hours before.
I was shopping.
Yes, you and many others. 5 hours before the show floor opened at the convention center, there was a rush at Euflora, the nearest of 11 recreational cannabis dispensaries within a mile of the convention center. Brewers and attendees were shopping for gummies and crazy strains and et cetera. During last year's GABF, the store manager Josh said sales increased. He forgot how much it increased. 20 to 30%, he says. So huge upswing in business from the festival. Colorado is home to more than 200 breweries, and it was the first state to legalize recreational pot, so no surprise that the two are connected here.
So, Tacey, you were in line getting weed?
No, I didn't get in line. I just dropped into one.
Yeah. What'd you get?
I didn't buy anything. Everything was like twice the price it is here.
Just browsing?
Oh.
What do I want to do that for? I already had stuff.
I don't find that the people I've interacted with in the greater Denver area have changed at all since this happening. In fact, I'm looking to see if people are drunker or higher or whatever, and everyone's just as weird as they ever were. And who cares?
I haven't noticed any difference in beer sales in Colorado.
That stayed the same as well?
It has stayed the same.
That's interesting. Oh.
Now, of course, it's a growing number, right? So what you don't know is, has it accelerated like it normally would have, if pot wasn't legal?
Right.
So
interesting.
Yeah.
Another thing I found interesting, a friend of mine who lives there, Bad Rock, he's from the forum, you find him in there. He was telling me that the
got other friends. Okay, wait, go ahead.
The tax has gone in. So much tax has gone into the state. In fact, in other words, the program has been so successful to bring revenue into the state that they did like a tax-free Wednesday for pot heads. You could just go buy. Like they had met all of their goals and everything they needed to do. So the government was like, we're going to give you tax-free Wednesday. Go buy your pot right now. And I thought, isn't that kind of reckless? Like,
yeah.
What a stupid... We've made too much money now.
Yeah.
So we're going to reward you potheads by tax-free... Like, that money goes to schools and everything else. God forbid you have a surplus. Like, do the potheads really need tax-free Wednesday? I don't think so.
If they did that on beer would be 40% cheaper.
They should have made it like free pizza day.
One day.
Let me tell you what
40% off.
You know
everywhere.
what the reward you got, potheads? That you don't have to go buy from a criminal anymore. That you're not going to get mugged when you go buy a bag of weed. That's what you got. You don't need tax-free Wednesday. Now you go into a nice, clean retail environment and you buy your weed and you pay taxes on it. That's enough.
Yeah. Instead of a parking lot.
Boy, this Colorado, they're hippier than we are out here in California. I'll tell you.
Wait till California passes.
Oh,
the notion is condescending too. Just the one day, like, hey, all that money you've been paying us, take one day off.
That's what I feel like too.
They got some law that says they can't. They can only tax a certain amount or something like that.
And by the way, tax-free Tuesday is much more marketable.
Yeah,
that's the way to roll. Well,
Wednesdays are weird.
To give it back to the people that were spending it.
They were too stoned to know that.
Well, I don't know if you guys tried.
Yeah, really.
There were a couple of pot beers on the floor at the GABF. There was a Dads and Dudes Breweria out of Aurora. They were offering a cannabis-infused beer made with legal hemp oil. Justin, you were the first in line. How'd it taste?
It was great. Tasted like dirt weed. Remember dirt weed? No, I didn't have the beer.
Ditch
weed,
I think
it's just a portion of pot was what it was, right? It wasn't really pot.
It didn't have any THC, right?
No, that's all. How does it work? They strip it from the hemp before they even use it. Yeah, so it's THC-free hemp.
I see.
Yeah.
Mraz had a hemp beer in Sacramento at the California Craft Beer Summit.
Firestone used to have a hemp seed beer years ago.
That's fine. Hemp seed.
Yeah, just don't do it with actual pot. It's always horrible. I think that's pretty common knowledge at this point. Anyway, there you go. That's the news brought to you by the Wine and Hop Shop. That's wineandhop.com, where you can get $8 flat rate shipping on orders under 50 pounds. Just enter BN shipping in the notes field of the shopping cart at checkout, and the discount will be taken out. They also, by the way, carry Omega yeast and Gigi yeast now, so it's a great spot to get your brewing supplies. Wineandhop.com.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Central Coast Brewing Company, who won my favorite beer style ever, the Pale Ale category. We'll have Brendan on the line. Hang in there. It's The Session. And thanks to Chuck and Meg for coming on the show on short notice, too. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Brewcasters. Brewcasters on the Brewing Network.
Beer tasting games that train your palate, a brewery locator, and the brand new interactive beer style guide. These are just a few of the awesome things you'll find on craftbeer.com. The style guide is a beautiful example of technology in beer. Browse beer style families or turn on the automatic beer style finder and explore beer through color, bitterness, ABV, aroma, and flavor. It's really the coolest way to explore every beer style besides having them all in front of you. Go to craftbeer.com and click on Beer Styles to start the guide. Plus, enjoy the rest of craftbeer.com, the Brewers Banter blogs, beer education, how to host a beer tasting, and the invaluable Draft Quality Manual. Tons of great content that makes your beer better. Visit the new craftbeer.com right now and explore the website that brings you all the passion, camaraderie, and creativity of the craft beer community. Craftbeer.com, celebrating the best of American beer.
Are you looking for a simple brewing system that's great for all grain brewing, but everything on the market seems to be full of compromises? Blickman Engineering has the answer. The Blickman Brew Easy All Grain Brewing System. The Brew Easy is a complete system with easy upgrades and a beautiful compact design, perfect for any size brewing location. At its core, the Brew Easy is built on two gorgeous Blickman Boilermaker brew kettles, a high-temperature March pump, and either a top-tier gas burner or the new Boil Coil electric heater. The Brew Easy adapter lid allows the pots to stack on top of each other, forming an efficient, strong, and compact brewing setup that comes in 5, 10, and 20-gallon batch sizes. Upgrade your Brew Easy system with full automated control by adding a Blickman Tower of Power temp controller, and make moving around easy with the Blickman Kettle Cart. The Brew Easy is modular. If you already own a Boilermaker kettle, you can build your Brew Easy by purchasing just the modules you need. The new Brew Easy all-grain brewing system. See it today at BlickmanEngineering.com and brew with Blickman quality on your new Brew Easy.
Williams Brewing is your online resource for prompt delivery of quality home brewing supplies. Since 1979, Williams Brewing has offered the finest equipment and the freshest ingredients, backed by the best customer service in the business. Do you like to mash using efficient fly sparging, but would like an easy way to heat your strike and sparge water? Enter the new Brewer's Edge electric mash water heater, a plug-in, anywhere, precisely controlled heater for strike and sparge water. Ditch the fumes and second burner and make mashing easy. Go to williamsbrewing.com today and browse their vast selection. That's williamsbrewing.com. Orders placed by 4 p.m. Pacific Time weekdays ship the same day. Brewing is easy the Williams way.
Hey, my brewing brothers and sisters. This is Jamel Zainashev, and I want to tell you about Heretic Evil Twin. You might be familiar with my homebrew recipe, which uses massive late hopping to create a balance between the malty sweet and the hoppy bitter, along with an outrageous malt and hop character. I wanted a beer with the same bold hop and malt character, so we played around with the homebrew recipe until we were able to make a great commercial version too. We've created a beer rich in malt character, full of caramel, toast, biscuit, and an ever so subtle roast note. On top of that, we piled in an insane amount of Citra and Columbus hops at the end of the boil, as well as in dry hopping. This damn-the-cost approach to hopping gives Heretic's Evil Twin a great blast of citrus and tropical fruit that can't be matched by any other hop. The result is a bold, malty, hoppy, but easy-drinking beer. This is our top seller, our flagship beer, and I couldn't be prouder of it. Cheers.
To find Heretic beers near you, click on Find Some at hereticbrewing.com.
Segmented, demented, fermented. It's The Session.
All right, welcome back, and thanks so much for hanging out with us. What a busy show. Great American Beer Festival winners, lots of crazy news going on in the beer world.
I even have a cool new game that I'm going to have to shelf for another episode.
Yep, we don't have time, but we are bringing back our happy hour segment this time around, so we will do that. But right now, we're going to talk to our friend Brendan Goff over at is it Central Coast Brewing Company. Brendan, what's happening? Oh, did I lose Brendan? Of course, right when we went hello.
Typical medal winner.
Yeah,
he's probably over on some other station giving them a scoop.
Yeah,
see if we can get him back. He got excited. As happens, Brendan.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy. Welcome to the show.
Who's calling?
We lost.
Thanks for having me, guys.
No, thanks for doing the show on short notice. Central Coast Brewing Company is the name of the brewing company Brendan is with, and you guys just won Pale Ale.
That's it. Yeah, just that little category, American Pale Ale.
How many entries were in it, Brendan?
There's 160 entries, and talking to some of the brewers after the festival. Some of the guys at Ale Smith and Ballast Point and all those places that had beers in that category. I mean, it was amazing. It was pretty incredible.
That is a big deal. It's a popular category, obviously, but also a really well-done category, kind of like you're saying. I mean, people who have won that in the past make some of my favorite beers on earth, man.
Yeah, for sure.
So were you...
Yeah, it's certainly a style that has been near and dear to my heart. When I was back when I was home brewing, it was probably about half of the beers I made were American Pale Ales, just different hop combinations and trying to dial in the malt bill. And so it's something that I have been working on for a long time. So it's definitely special to me.
So this is your recipe that won.
Yeah, this is sort of a tweak on my old homebrew recipe. The malt bill is pretty much the same as it always has been. Water, brewing with Sandwich water. I grew up in this town, so I'm very familiar with it. The hops are probably the thing that's the most different, just because the scaling up of hops for the bitterness and stuff like that definitely needs to be adjusted for.
Sure. So let's start with talking about the hops in this beer. What do you use?
So hop side, that beer is it's a Centennial, Mosaic, and Galaxy.
Okay.
And so, yeah, we do it's a 10-barrel system. We do a 12-barrel batch on it. And we have 20-barrel fermenters, so we'll usually brew twice to fill up the tank. So on that 12-barrel batch, we'll do 4 ounces of Mosaic at first wort. We'll do a 10-minute addition of Centennial, and then blend in Mosaic and Galaxy in the whirlpool.
Got it. Very nice. And the malt bill, simple?
Yeah, it's simple, but it's important. I think we try to find something that has a little bit of that kind of bready malty sweetness. So we use 17% Vienna malt. We use about 8.5% torrefied wheat, and then just a little blend, 4% each of Carapils and Crystal 40.
Got it.
Well, I have it's a weird gimmicky question, but is there some sort of an X factor at work here that you can put your finger on? I mean, it's so many entries and such a tough style. What do you think is setting yours apart?
Honestly, I think it has a lot to do with moving beer around the cellar and just taking care of it, preventing oxygen. I brewed for about 3 years before going to Central Coast at Firestone Walker, and certainly, those guys are very conscious of taking care of the beer and, dissolved oxygen levels. And so that is something that is a premium concern all the time. And so we're doing, captive CIPs on our bright tanks, so we don't open them. We'll do acid wash under pressure. When we dry hop, we hook up a CO2 line to it, so it's positive pressure the whole time. And, any place that we have the opportunity to, produce the amount of oxygen coming in, we're just very, very, very careful of that. And I think ultimately, I kind of joke that the GABF, is more of a packaging competition.
It's a good joke.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, really, it's you ship the beers out 6 weeks beforehand, and so every one of those bottles was just hand bottled with a counter pressure filler, and I would fill it with a real light, Star San solution, and then turn the bottle upside down, and purge it out with CO2 completely. So it's a kind of a complete purge, like kind of a displacement.
Mm-hmm.
And then purge the bottle for another minute. And I think, there's essentially shouldn't be any oxygen in it after that. And so, then a tip from, my buddy Dustin over at Firestone, when they were used to hand bottle all their gold medal beers, he told me to get something hard to hit the bottle on and just give it a tap. And as soon as that thing foams up, cap right on it. And that was it.
That's good advice. So cap on foam is some standard old things, but I like
sure, yeah.
And also Brennan's like, and so I purge it with CO2 for 4 days.
Right. You might be overdoing it there, Brennan.
Yeah, I'm sure it is, but a lot of things that we do are overkill.
But I agree with what you say. It is the packaging competition because that's where the last point of you can mess it up, and a lot of breweries I'm sure do.
Yeah. So on the ingredient side, let's talk about the water. Because I feel like in a pale ale, and I know Tasty's talked about this before, especially when you're trying to get the most out of your hop character and stuff. I feel like in a pale ale, water is truly one of those moments where it's the most important thing. And you said your water pretty well down there. How do you treat it for this beer?
So starting off, one of the most important things that we do is we test our water ahead of time.
Okay.
And so we are using San Luis water from the city, but I got a little test kit. So every time we brew, we actually pre-boil our water ahead of time.
Oh.
But we don't have a activated carbon filter or a RO system or anything. So San Luis water is pretty good, and so we'll pre-boil all of our brewing water ahead of time, and that drops a little bit of that calcium carbonate out.
Yes.
And so.
What do you rack off? Didn't you rack off of that basic? Okay.
Yeah, exactly. We'll just let that stuff settle overnight,
right.
And then just rack off of it. But yeah, we usually end up, at about 30 part per million of calcium, about 80 part per million total alkalinity is calcium carbonate. It's about 45 part per million sulfate, 45 part per million chloride. So it's a pretty balanced water profile to start with. And so I'll just take the calcium up to about 80, go closer to 2-to-1 on the sulfate to chloride.
And what would your sulfates to be, like 300 or so?
No, it'd be up to like 80.
It's closer to it's like 180 to 60.
That's where you add it up to? Okay.
Yeah, it's not, and I know it's not true Burtonization of the water.
Yeah, it'd be higher if it was.
Yeah, it's definitely softer than that. But, the way that I kind of tried to make this beer is that, I want that malt, we have that torrefied wheat and that Vienna, and we actually mash it at 154. And so I'm looking for a little bit of texture from the malt and from those dextrins that are left in the malt on the high mash. And I'm trying to use that water chemistry to kind of tighten things up at the end.
Sure. Very good.
So, yeah, I think it all kind of comes together pretty well.
Well, you're the gold medal winner. We're listening really closely.
Yeah. Don't ask us anymore, Brendan.
Whatever you do. Well, we'll be doing that, by the way.
Do you do any pH adjustment, either during the brew or even after fermentation?
We'll start with acid malt. We'll do usually on the pale ales about 2% acid malt. That gets our mash pretty close. If I need to adjust a little bit in the kettle, we'll use a food-grade phosphoric acid just to really hit that target.
Smart.
And we're looking for, a pre-boil pH of about 5.45 with a post-boil of about 5 and 5.35. So that usually gets our finished beer pH somewhere between about 4.4 and 4.5. And so if it's, if I see it drifting one way or the other, we'll start shooting for different targets. But that absolutely, I think is important. That finished beer pH is ultimately.
Especially in a hoppy beer, the right pH will clear your palate so much better. You'll be able to taste all the hop character, but when you swallow it doesn't linger. It's great.
So, and I can certainly attest to the fact that when we were kind of trying, when I was at Firestone, we were shooting for lower end of boil pHs. We were going for like 5.2, and we were seeing finished beer pHs with their house yeast, that were in target. So when I come in, I'm shooting for 5.2, and we're coming out with like 4.2 finished beer pH, and they were acidic. They bite too hard, and it really does affect it. There's a sweet spot there.
Well, no, yeah, like difference between 4.2 and 4.3 is like tenfold. So
It's huge.
It's a logarithmic scale.
Just kind of through trial and error, we've kind of found the sweet spot, in our brew house and our yeast. We're just using Cal Ale. But yeah, that 5.35 tends to be kind of the sweet spot for our pale ale after boil.
I'm really impressed that you're running those numbers. That's great.
Yeah.
I just wanted to bring up, too, Nathan was on a little while ago talking about, we had this iDip brew kit from Smart Brew Kits, and he went and he can test with all this stuff super easy. It has like an app, and so, you used to just have to do all sorts of different test strips and complicated water things, which is why I never, ever looked at my water. But they gave us a deal on it, too. But with this thing, you can go to smartbrewkit.com and enter code TBN15, and you're going to get free shipping and then a bottle of reagent for free, which is like a $70 value. But this thing tests for all the things that you just mentioned, Brendan. Like you can test for alkalinity, chloride, calcium hardness, pH, sulfates. You can check for all of it with just this simple little...
And it matters in a beer like this pale ale, for sure.
Yeah. And then they have...
Absolutely.
They have like an app that you can share it with the rest of your brew club and stuff. So it's for home brewers and pro brewers. But it's a handheld water tester that has an app. It pairs with Bluetooth to whatever, and you can email your results to your assistant brewer or whatever. It does over 35 different water tests. So I don't know. Go check it out. You can go to smartbrewkit.com and then use coupon code TBN15. Sorry, since you just brought up all those different measurements, I was like, oh yeah, I'm pretty sure they gave us a coupon code for that.
Everybody could, I think everybody wants to take a look at their water.
Yeah.
Can you imagine, Justin, if you ever become a home brewer, there's all these awesome products for you to use. It's like you can't screw up.
It's amazing. And you can hear about them all right here on the... anyway. So,
how many IBUs was your beer that won?
On paper, it was about 60.
Yeah.
And that's, I do use Beersmith, and we sort of adjust for, I set my hop utilization, pretty high, just because, that's one of the things that our in our system, our wort sits pretty long during knockout. Because we're only going in at about 4 gallons a minute, and so it takes us about an hour and 15 minutes to cool in, and so.
So your whirlpool hops will have bigger effect.
Yeah, and so it's hard. That's why we end up backloading. That's why we get a little bit up front and a little bit in the middle, but most of our hops go into the whirlpool, trying to get as much of that flavor retained as we can.
What do you think? What percent of your hops are in the whirlpool? What percentage of your IBUs are from the whirlpool? And what's prior?
There's basically 11 pounds total that go in, and 8 of them go in the whirlpool. And so it's like
most of it
2 pounds at 10 minutes. It's like 4 ounces at 60 minutes, and then the rest of the blend of those hops goes in the whirlpool. So it's
4 ounces at 60 minutes. That's like a homebrew batch.
Yeah.
That's just
10 barrels. It's at first wort. It's just
just to cut the hot
as you'll hear Matt say, sort of just to keep the foam down.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, and I've considered taking that out, but it's like, I don't know, it just feels kind of right to have hops in there at the beginning. I don't know.
Don't change it.
It's a kettle pH adjustment. Go ahead and make it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then how does the 11 pounds compare to how much you're dry hopping with?
So that one gets a big dry hop. We actually dry hop that heavier than our IPA, but the difference is that we go really short contacts with that. We'll catch the dry hop right about a half degree Plato above fermentation, and that's certainly not a novel idea. Most brewers, I don't know about most, but a lot of brewers are doing that.
Like
that yeast
Walker.
activity can help scrub some oxygen. There are new flavor compounds created, during metabolic activity with the yeast.
Any oxygen that got introduced will get eaten up.
Yeah, exactly. And so, but we go about 2 pounds per barrel. So that gets 22 pounds in a 10 barrel batch and 44 pounds in a 20 barrel batch. And we'll go, 3 days, and then on that third day, I'll just dump whatever hops settle out, crash the tank to 33, and then the next day, get as much of the hops that I can out. On the pale ales, I think it's particularly important to try and get as much of that vegetable matter out as fast as you can. I think you have a little bit more leeway on the IPAs and double IPAs to leave those hops in there. Some of those, the polyphenol extraction, some of the tannins from the hops can actually, help a double IPA. They can help kind of make it seem a little less sweet and a little more bitey. But the pale ale, obviously, you're looking for more of that kind of soft balance. And getting those, I want that big aroma, but I'm trying to minimize the amount of that tannin extraction. So we'll go with 3 days and then drop them and then crash the tank and then drop the hops again the next day just to make sure we've gotten everything out of it.
Do you rouse the hops at all during the 3 days, or is it just they fall through once and that's it?
We don't, not on that beer. So because we're getting all of the hops in while there's still some yeast activity, I'm counting on that to kind of mix the hops in. And, just looking at what comes out, I mean, it looks like it's like hop porridge. I mean, there's no doubt that all of those hops were, fully saturated. On some of the other IPAs that we do, we'll do 2 dry hops, and I do rouse the second round. Mm-hmm. When there's a little bit less activity going on. But for this beer where it's just, one big dry hop with really short contact, I'm looking for the yeast activity to sort of stir those hops up.
Sure.
Brendan, how long have you been at Central Coast?
I've been back there just over a year, actually.
And this is the first time that you've entered beers under Central Coast?
So when I left Firestone and went to Central Coast, the first batches we had never gone to the GABF before, and that was something that I wanted to do, and had never brewed on that system. I had brewed on. I was kind of helping out a little bit part time, but hadn't gone in there and actually said, okay, these are my beers, and like really made a run at trying to dial things in. And so once I had made that decision and came full time, the first batches I made were the GABF batches from last year.
I see.
And so, we kind of tried to play the game a little bit last year. We picked styles that weren't quite as heavily entered. And so, we made a brown ale, we made a stout, we made a Hefeweizen, and these are all beers that we normally make. But, they're not something that I certainly, have a true passion for. And so we kind of made, took a run at it and made the beers, and we got pretty positive feedback. But, we sent 3 out of 4 to the second round, but didn't get any medals last year. So this year came around. It was like, screw it, man. I don't care. We're going to enter. I don't care if it's the most competitive categories. We're going to brew the beers. They're our best beers. And so let's just go for it. And
you could have put it in the international pale ale category.
That is true. Yeah. That is true. That's a pretty competitive category too, though.
Yeah, it is. Now it is. Once
could have won them both.
Ballast Point brought all the attention to it.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's a true American pale ale. I guess the Galaxy is it's sort of an in-betweener, international and American style pale. But,
now you emphasized you said you emphasized the malt bill. You think that's key to making a good pale ale is to have make sure the malt has some say so?
Absolutely. We've made beers that, on that system that first came out a little lean, and we've kind of tweaked things. Yeah. I think that Vienna malt, we made a Vienna malt sub for what used to be Munich. And I get a little bit more kind of bready sweet out of Vienna, where I get a little bit more of that kind of bread crust out of Munich. Yeah. And I think that sweetness can kind of help, sort of showcase the sweetness of the hops a little bit. Yeah. And certainly that torrefied wheat, I think, I always kind of describe it as kind of a pillowy landing for the hops. Sorry if I kind of echo and I'm walking in and out of my house here and there's cars driving by. So
you're all right. Don't worry about it.
Great. Yeah, but, so you're trying to get some body in the beer. Is that I sense?
Say that again?
You're trying to get a fair amount of body in the beer so that it'll offset the hops.
Not to a point.
What do you measure?
You don't want to be chewing on it. You don't want to. No. But that's the thing. A 5.5% beer. There's very little you can do with the malt bill to overpower the hops. So you do want to make sure that you certainly have that foundation. Once you get above 7%, I think you start running into having to be a little bit more careful about the malts that you put in it. But
because there's so much.
I know, and Tasty, I've talked to you about this. I mean, when you session IPAs, when you get down to 4.5%, you can put up to 20% crystal malt in those.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
And Tasty, you want to know what the mash temp was too? I think that's important.
How high did you mash with the torrefied wheat?
We mashed this beer at 154.
Okay, so you're trying to essentially get body in the beer. Of course,
and a lot of that's just yeast strain dependent. I mean, our Cal Ale is a workworkhorse.
Yeah. No, it'll knock that down. That's why you got to do 154. Yeah, if you use an English yeast, that wouldn't be way too high. You'd still
I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
It still probably
that's just based on our results. It's a 12.5 Plato beer, and it dries out, below 2.5. It usually finishes at like 2.2 or 2.3 Plato.
Right.
I don't have my notes in front of me, but I think that's what it was.
Did you submit a really fresh batch, the one? Or did you have one that was a little bit aged on it?
It was fresh. I mean, we, that was the one that we basically took it to Bright Tank 2 days before bottling it and sending it off. That said, it sits for 6 weeks at the festival.
Right.
So,
yeah. Did you bottle some extra and taste it at 6 weeks later to kind of see what they were tasting?
I did. I bottled 2 extra bottles of everything, and sort of tasted one of them about 4 weeks in, and it was still really good, but you could kind of see it start to change a little bit, and you're just kind of crossing your fingers, hold on here. And
that just sounds like torturing
we opened
yourself.
One a day before we left, and that was still pretty good. So we were feeling pretty good about it, and it's one of those things where you got a good beer, but it's 160 entry category.
So when you saw
50 really good beers.
All right, when you saw the bronze medal winner and then the silver medal winner, what chance did you think you had of getting gold? You thought it's over, or you
pretty
think
much zero?
Right?
I mean, you've got a good beer. And in your head, you're kind of convinced yourself, like, okay, like
140 entries.
If I could sneak in and get a bronze, God, I'd be so happy.
Yeah.
And they call it the bronze. It's just like, shit, okay. Silver comes up, and it's just like, I even looked at my guys after the silver medal. It's like, shit, man. Okay, next year,
next year.
Yeah, and then they call the name. It's like, Monterey Street Pale. It's like, wait, hold on. I make a beer called Monterey Street Pale.
Yeah.
And they say Central Coast Brewing. It's like, holy shit. And as you can hear in my voice, I still can barely talk right now. I lost my voice.
It's a life-changing moment. I'm so glad for you, buddy.
Yeah, it's pretty
so
exciting.
Glad.
Folks, you can go to centralcoastbrewing.com right now and check it out. It's a small brewery in California, obviously producing good beer. Brendan, do you think I should stop repeatedly attempting to brew Pale 31 and failing, and now switch over to your recipe as my repeatedly attempting to brew a pale ale recipe? What do you think?
Well, considering you haven't tasted mine yet, why don't we get you guys a keg of that up at the Hop Grenade?
Okay, I like this idea.
You can do your market research there, and then we can talk about it.
Next weekend, as in 5 days from now, we are doing a GABF Winners Showcase here. How the hell do I get a keg of this up here?
Oh, shit, man.
I think you need an excuse to come to the Bay Area.
I'm sure we could figure something out. What date is it?
We'll do it all weekend. So it's like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We're just going to put California GABF winners. And, boy, would I love to have your pale ale, man. It's my favorite.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. And this actually, the timing worked out really well for us on this beer, too, because, it's basically a pub setting that we have. And so it's just a tasting room, and we do local distribution in the county. And so we're not a production brewery, so we don't make that beer every week. We make that batch, and it lasts us about 4 or 5 weeks usually.
Okay.
So we had brewed that beer. We ran out of it about a week before GABF, and we had actually just transferred the fresh batch to Bright Tank the day before we left. And so
nice.
We got 2-day-old, version of that beer in Bright Tank right now. So
I will email you after the show. If we can find a way to work it out, it'd be cool.
Yeah, I'll meet you in Salinas, and we'll...
there we go. Tasty's already... okay, we'll figure this out.
We'll do a Pony Express style.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I'd love to come hang out and drink them, too.
That'd be even better.
All right, let's see what we can work out. Folks, you can go to centralcoastbrewing.com and check it out right now. And this is a big category. It's a big win. I mean, and then, of course, just it being my favorite, I knew we had to have Brendan on. So those of you who went to our BNA 10 party actually had some Central Coast Brewing beer if you were in San Diego at our party because Brendan was down there pouring. And look, we just wanted to have you on to congratulate you and learn about the beer because we're proud of you, dude. Good job.
Cool, man. Thank you, guys.
All right. I will email you, and I hope we get this beer of the Grenade here this weekend. That'd be sweet.
Sounds good.
All right. Cheers, Brendan. Oops, I hung up on him accidentally. Damn it. I think he hung up on me.
I was going to say hi to his girlfriend.
She's even more fun than Brendan is. Yeah, she's fun. All right. So that's pretty cool, right, Tasty?
So cool.
I mean, again, it never gets old watching some of our
only winner that I cried for.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I was teary-eyed.
I like it. I do it every time, and I always feel like such a loser.
Well, you are such a puss. Yeah.
But it's just so cool. Like these people win. Like it's such a big competition, and
well, these are like people you know. You know, it means a lot to them, doesn't it?
Yeah. All right, we're supposed to do happy hour, but I have a pending request with our person we're supposed to talk to. So, tell you what, if that doesn't happen in the next minute, we're done.
Let's do the Twitter game then.
All right, let's do that. So, what was our Twitter game today?
I had said what happened in Denver that you and Bevo and Jamie and Push Eject wish stayed in Denver. A lot of good ones.
If only they knew.
A lot of good ones, but also a lot of ones that were either sucky or sort of nonsensical. So this is not... JP does a good job with his curation every week. I used to think, like, man, why don't you just read all the submissions? But now I see why.
There's a reason.
Yeah.
Well, now there's a competition involved for the Labruski cruise.
Yeah.
We'll probably get even more.
I'm sure.
So,
all right, so forgive me if some of these suck. I don't have the greatest discretion like he does. But here's Chad Geschwell, who says, the loose-skinned stripper at La Boheme that smelled like the hot plate at Tacos y Salsa.
There were no loose-skinned strippers at La Boheme. So
tight like a snare drum, huh?
Yeah, everyone was in tip-top shape. Either that or I was too drunk to know.
John McConnell says, unprotected sex with multiple partners. Straight to the point.
Straight to the point. No, we wouldn't regret that.
All right. Yeah, it's true. Scrappy Hound says, that thing in the hotel with the brownies, the bowling ball, and the clown mask, and the cactus. Sounds like
that must have been Bevo's room.
Something that should have stayed there. Kelly Wingert says, drunken spin the bottle. Disappointment and regret.
That didn't happen, but
I'm surprised.
Would have been.
That's why Justin's
both
disappointed.
Disappointment and regret.
I'm going to put that one. That one's the first one that's made the list.
Yeah.
Asa Dunkerton says, one word, zero gauge butt plug.
Oh, Jesus.
That's a lot of words.
Is that big?
Zero gauge?
The smaller the gauge,
yeah, like how's
the
it go?
bigger it is.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
So that's like what? That's like a beer can,
like a telephone pole.
It's like yeah, right. But it's in the shape of a spade, so you can ease it in. You know. All right. Keith Allen.
I wouldn't know.
Keith Allen says, "You mean that thing made from the broken dildo mold? One hit too many from a bong, and an errant Snapchat sent to reply all #oops."
That's complicated, and we'd have been way too drunk for that.
Lost me halfway through.
All right.
But you said oops.
Attic Monkey 81 says, that awkward moment when you had to explain to Jamil why you didn't bring the RV.
Nah.
Tim Jenkins says, Justin scoops himself on another bullshit radio show about selling half the BN to Heineken. So you go on, you guest on a show and scoop yourself.
Oh, I go on somebody else's
on
show?
another podcast.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I would definitely regret that.
Amazing.
All right.
Beer Judge says, butt sex.
Wouldn't regret that.
And Lee Brocus.
You wouldn't. I would.
Lee Brocus says Sam.
We regret Sam.
Well, you should. Or
regret
wish
not
you would have
leaving
left him there.
Yeah.
Well, Sam didn't go.
Sam didn't go.
Unfortunately. So, all right. So the two that I put on my list are Drunken Spin the Bottle. We definitely would have. That we could actually, I could see us playing that.
I could totally see us
and
playing
then
that.
entirely regretting it.
Yeah.
How about that awkward booth meeting the next morning?
Yeah. Well, hello there.
Oh, hi.
So, guys.
Hi, Bevo.
Yeah, right. It'd be
I got to go over to the
tasty.
studio. I'll see you later.
Yeah.
And then that I would go on somebody else's show and scoop myself about being bought by Heineken. Ooh, both are likely to happen.
Yeah.
Both regrettable.
Yeah. I think the spin the bottle is going to happen on the Brewski cruise.
Ooh.
There are some freaky people going too.
I'm going to tell you, we did learn that this weekend. I'm going to tell you that right now, a lot of freaky stuff is going to happen on the Brewski cruise.
Freaky how? Like, what do you mean?
Freaky in every way. I have recently discovered a knack of mine, and that is predicting when shit's about to get weird. And didn't I say, Bevo, it was, I don't know what it was. It was Friday. It was the middle of our session, and I could feel how everyone was behaving, and I was like, shit's going to get weird tonight.
Shit got weird.
It got super weird. So, anyhow, I'm now predicting that the Labruski Cruise is going to get weird. Also, because we know some of the people that are now going who have bought tickets. You can go on our website and click the Labruski Cruise banner. I'll get a more prominent link up by tomorrow as well so that it's permanent, and get your own discount.
And
your BN
join
discount.
in this weirdness.
And join in the debauchery because it is going to be cool.
Everybody wants weird memories that you regret.
Drunk and Spin the Bottle sounds
International
quaint
waters.
for what you're describing. Maybe that's too tame. For what we're gonna be doing.
Yeah, could be, except that we'll find a way to make it weirder. It's just
Drunk and Spin the Bottle, but if the bottle lands on you, it's oral.
Let me just be clear. I will tap out of this weirdness much like I tapped out of the Friday night weirdness.
You didn't exactly tap out before it got weird. You just tapped out as it was escalating weird.
No, bro. I tapped out before. It was uncomfortable.
Weird.
I think
you are so
worse.
full of shit if you're telling me you tapped out before it got weird.
Oh, no,
it was
you're
already
right.
getting
It was
weird.
weird.
Are we talking like Roberto weird or Andy Wood weird?
It's like the hybrid child.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a good. It's Andy Wood meets Roberto. By 3 a.m. anyway, it was Andy Wood meets Roberto. By the time at 1:30, it was still Andy Wood weird. Yeah,
that was when
Bevo left.
Yeah, that still sounds fun.
Yeah, that's almost enjoyable.
Yeah. All right, who wins?
Well, we should vote on this one because.
So it's spin the bottle and scoop.
Because it's important. So
drunk and
spin the bottle. Raise your hand.
I get that.
Oh, there we go. That's our winner.
Nearly
Only Moscow was going to vote for that Justin scoops himself.
Because I can hear that. I can hear that happening.
Yeah. All right, so whoever wrote in, which you need to do, Moscow, drunk and spin the bottle,
Kelly
needs to email scott@thebrewingnetwork.com. We'll put you in the running for a chance to win a cabin to go with us on the Let's Get Weird Labruski Cruise. I just rebranded it.
But they've been emailing you, haven't they, Bevo?
Send it to Bevo. Then.
Yeah,
Bevo@thebrewingnetwork.com.
Oh, they sent it to me, but they also send it to JP because he's keeping a list.
Oh, there you go. I'll message you, Kelly.
So that flashing thing is not a phone call that I need?
That is. I messaged you about it,
Oh,
bro.
you did? Are they still there? Oh, it's Steve-O.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I thought that they were going to do the show and then couldn't do the show.
That's what yeah.
Maybe it's not the real Steve-O.
I wanted to get their brewmaster on.
Steve-O, what's up, man? Congratulations. Steve-O is now working with Taps and won, I forget, what'd you win? What was the mid-size?
I was just... mid-size brew pub.
Yeah, brew pub.
There it is.
I was just calling to play Bruce Lang Is It Anyway.
Booze Wang, is it?
Bruce Wanger?
Bruce Lang Is It Anyway.
No, we're out of here. We're leaving. We're going. But you did call in just in time for us to congratulate you. Like I said, Steve-O now works for Taps, and they won... What was the brewery?
Medium-sized brew pub.
Medium-sized
And a couple
brew pub.
medals. A couple beer medals.
That's how you get that award.
Yeah.
Oh. Shut up, Warren.
Mid-sized brew pub of the year.
Their beers are really good. I had some there at the festival.
I did too.
Yeah.
In fact, I had
Steve will make you he had me in a headlock. He made me go over there drinking.
That's what he did.
Well, I was just happy to see you guys. I missed you.
We
man.
love you, Steve-O, by the way.
So, and I really just wanted to say that, I know it's not the interview or anything. Moscow was dying for my brewmaster, and I tried to get him on. He said maybe in the future, but I just really wanted to come on and say thank you guys because I'm just some poor Mexican that's barely learning how to brew, and most of it is due to you guys, so that's all I really wanted to say.
Well, thanks, brother.
Thanks for saying that.
Hey, look, we were proud of you, and went over and tried the beers. I had like a Keller beer and
the Dortmunder?
and a Dortmunder.
Yeah, really good.
Both fantastic beers. But every time I got to see you go up there and get a medal, Steve-O, I peed a little in my pants. I was very happy for you.
I peed when I see you. I love you guys, man. I know you're trying to head out. I just wanted to call in and say hi. I miss you.
Glad you did. We love you, too, and congrats. It's a big deal, so pat yourself on the back and enjoy the win, man.
For sure.
All right, brother. Cheers.
You don't fucking know me, Steve-O.
Sorry. He's got all the drops still. Yeah. All right. Are we done?
Yeah.
We're done. Next week, we have...
Creature Comforts. They're coming out to the studio from Athens, Georgia. We had them, briefly on the Sour Hour. They sent in, I think they're Berliner and a couple other beers, and they were really fantastic. And they're cool guys, and they're coming out to join us here at the Grenade.
How close is Athens to Atlanta? You know, we're big in the Atlanta Police Department. I don't know if you know that.
Well, lunch meat is big.
Oh, right. Lunch meat's big. Not just... okay, good call. All right. Well, I'm looking forward to that. It'll be a great show. If you're around this week, we got Bear Republic coming into the Hop Grenade on Wednesday to do a beer night with us. And then next weekend, or this coming weekend, I should say, we are doing a GABF Medal Winners tap list. And we'll have GABF Medal Winners on, I think, all weekend long, unless we sell out on Friday. Maybe some from Central Coast Brewing Company. That would be cool.
Can we get that STS, you think?
Yeah.
Let's just call a guy that we know.
Put in a request. I can maybe send an email.
Yeah.
See if we can do that. We'll get some winners in here. All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks to our brewers who came on today. Paul Sangster and Brendan and Matt Brynelson called in. And, of course, Jay from the Rare Barrel. I also want to thank once again Chuck Silva for taking time out of his night, as well as Meg Gill for taking time out of her night to call us and give us some scoops on what they're doing. I guess not really scoops, but some more info, right? And that was nice of them. All right. We'll be back next week. Take care, everybody.
Justin's a nice guy and winning the race. JP